Well, I was looking today about maybe building one of those uh, 6 meter antennas I was trying to think what they call those, that has like a square plate on it and then has the four angled 45-degree elements down and then the one vertical. You have I forget what they call that.
A ground plane?
Yeah, just a ground plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a ground plane,
Mhm.
6 meter.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the pieces that I need to just build me one of those. I've got a
Yeah.
2 meter, the 440 that's outside now,
Well,
and
Mark-
it works great.
Mark, you need to be horizontally polarized. So that lets that out.
Yeah.
But if you want to build a vertical, build a 10-meter vertical, a 10-meter ground plane, you will work the world whenever this 10-meter band opens up.
I just got to be careful. I got to be careful here as far as the 6 meter. I'm going to do it horizontally.
Horizontal.
I really got to keep it kind of quiet over. I got to keep it kind of quiet over here. I can't have anything that's obvious above the house. Right now, I'm doing 6 meter with my 6 to 80 infrared antenna.
Mhm. Well, you can build a dipole for 6 meters. A monobander antenna works better than a multi-band antenna. So you could build a 6-meter dipole. It's pretty short. A 6-meter inverted V, feed it with 50 ohm coax in the middle.
Problem is that you got to figure out the upper end of that V, the center part of that, your cable to it. You hang it. See, I don't have any trees here. I don't have any way of hanging it.
Well, you need a vertical pole for the center of it, and then the edges droop down from that. And your insulator in the middle where your coax hooks on, shield on one side, center conductor on the other side of the wire.
Could you maybe build a telescoping pole? Because you were talking about not having the height above.
Well, I live in an 8, and they don't like all those nice towers and antennas that stand 25, 30 feet in the air.
That's why I was saying.
So I'm trying to be
take it up and down.
Just scoot it up when you're operating and then take it back down. Or put it
a
up
lot
at
of
night.
hassle.
Put it up at nighttime.
That's what submarines did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Up telescope.
Yeah.
If you just do an FT8, the end feds work just fine for FT8, and they can be low and hidden in trees.
Yeah.
Well, I've got an in fed up on the roof now, and it contact on 6, but it's just not that strong because of that particular antenna and where it is.
Well, have you measured it
You're gonna
against
have to
somebody?
move.
Do what?
Have you measured it against somebody? Do you know it's not that strong?
Well, I did it with you guys the other night when I was making the 6 meter, when I did it with Ken, making the 6 meter contact. And it took forever to make it work. I mean, we weren't that far apart.
Well, big problem then was the audio. Once we got that taken care of, we didn't have any problem.
And I did Mark, I did the 6 meter net last night, and they could hear me, but I sounded like I was 200 miles away, and it was a lot of noise in there.
Well, it was noisy the last couple of days. I don't know what 6 was like. I forgot to come on to 6 last night, but was anybody else on 6 last night?
There was probably a half a dozen or so in the net last night, 6 meter. But I couldn't hear, like when Phil got on, he said, okay, and he gave Phil's call to check in. I didn't hear Phil. I could hear the one doing the net, but I couldn't hear Phil.
You know,
Phil might be vertical.
I meant to get on last night and I forgot it.
But like I said, it sounded to me like I was 200 miles away trying to connect to that net.
Well, but yeah, this ground wave stuff is really weird. But you were hearing them and they were hearing you.
The one doing the net could hear me, and I could hear him, but I couldn't hear hardly anybody else in there that was checking into the net. I heard a few calls, but not that many. And the ones he'd call out there, like I said, he called to Phil, UGO, and I never heard Phil come back, but he was talking to him. And so, I mean, mine's
Phil
not,
might be vertical, if I remember right. I don't. When Denny comes back, we can ask him. He might be vertical, which would knock you out pretty good.
Is then whoever operates the net, are they vertical or horizontal polarized?
Most of those guys have both, and they'll just switch.
Mhm. Most 6-meter contacts will be horizontally polarized, Mark. Unless you're a mobile, and then they operate vertical. Kind of hard to do a dipole in a mobile.
Well, I don't know. You could hang it up over the top of the car,
Yeah,
13'6" off the ground.
you could put it on a PVC and rotate it even.
We'll drive around the corner. That Moxon's what I've got on the screen here now, and that's just a square pipe deal. And John Tankersley built one of those, and I ended up with it. It's sitting out here in my shop, but I need to put it up and try it. It's a 6-meter. Basically, it's a 6-meter. Let me there's a bigger picture of it.
Oh.
Don't mind the beer from the guy that was building it, but
It's a Moxon,
yeah.
and they're horizontally. Normally, you put them horizontally polarized and you rotate them.
Right. And it's basically a two element, a driven element,
Mhm.
and then a reflector.
Yeah. But you know how easy it is to build a 2-element Yagi?
Yeah. Well, this just gives you an easy way on PVC. So if all you got is PVC options, that's a good way to make those happen. I don't understand, and I have never looked at it. What does wrapping the corners do for us? Does it do anything electrically, or does that help us on ohm?
I don't know, Mark.
Because it's a dipole, it should be 50.
It's like 2 dipoles.
Yeah.
You know, a director and a reflector, or a director and a driven element and a
Reflector. Yeah.
But
Yeah, last I recall, it's just to make it smaller. That's all, physically smaller. Hey, Mark Clayton, when you say you have your antenna on the roof, how do you have it on the roof?
I'll bet it's hooked the 9-pin, at the box that has I draw a blank at the moment. I was thinking of something else.
the 9-to-1 Ballon.
The 9-to-1 Ballon box is hooked to a vent pipe, and then the line is running east-west across the top of the roof, but it's basically laying on the roof is what it's doing.
Yeah, you need to get it off. You need to get it off the roof, even if it's a couple of inches.
Yeah.
That's what I figure I'm gonna have to do. I just got to figure out the best way to do that.
Is it on the back side of your house where it can't be seen from the street, or?
Well, if I did that, it would be facing north-south then.
You mean the wire would be running north-south?
Yep.
That's
Way
better.
Really?
That puts you broadside to Europe.
Well, yeah, but the way it is east-west right now, I was getting all kinds of Europe today.
You're getting better if you're broadside to them.
Those antennas aren't real directional. I found out mine never was.
Yeah, I keep forgetting it's long.
Yeah,
It
infed.
was,
Basically
it's
a
funny,
long
it's
wire.
not that directional, but there'll be a weird dead spot on a random direction. There'll be a dead spot and you'll never get anything in that direction for some odd reason.
Wait. Just let me just clarify this. You're getting Europe on a antenna that's end fed with a 9-to-1 balun that's laying on your roof, and you're complaining.
Well, no, here's the problem. 6 and 10 are awful. 20 meter and 40 meter is fantastic on receive. I mean, it's super.
Well,
I'm getting
there's a
20
cure-
today.
There's a
20
cure for that. There's a cure for that. Upgrade your license.
There you go.
Sorry if I started something there, Mark, but
I know you did.
Who asked this question? Get the thing 6 inches off the deck with just some little plastic pieces, and that's going to make a heck of a lot of difference in transmitting. I mean, if you're getting a good receive off of that laying on the roof nonsense, wow, you're in good shape.
Do you have, what kind of SWR are you having with it laying on the roof?
Oh, about 1.4, 1 to 4.
It may get better if you get it off the roof.
Yeah. No, that's that. If you're laying that close, a foot or 6 inches, whatever you can do for, I don't know if you got something hanging off the ends, or if you got a little standoff, make it out of milk crates, or where's Ken Sanborn with his 88-cent
PVC
cutting boards from Walmart. He takes the plastic cutting boards and just cuts them in pieces, and if you have to, bend a little 90 in it and drill a hole in it.
I use those plastic cutting boards for insulator for at the end of my guy ropes on my 630 meter vertical that's 60 foot tall. And I use those, that cutting board, about an 8-inch long piece of it for insulators. And that stuff works good, and it's pretty tough.
Yep.
You can
Yeah,
get
but if you can get it just a touch off that roof, you're gonna make a big difference on transmit.
You can get a
I
lot of
can do that.
insulators out of a cutting board.
Yeah, and I don't know what you got, but put it on the backside or whatever it is underneath a few shingles. Just tab them up underneath there, and if it blows and knocks it down, well, big deal. You put it back up the next time it quits raining. But that should be good. There's Bill Baker. Bill Baker, do you know if Phil's 6 meter antenna is a vertical or a horizontal?
What about it?
Is Phil's 6 meter antenna horizontal or vertical?
Mine?
No, Phil Sennett. Sorry.
Phil. I'm not sure what he uses on 6.
Okay.
He's got a Hustler 5 BTV, and I don't know what else.
I keep asking who's on vertical and who's on horizontal, and it sounds like it's about half and half on that 6 meter net.
Yeah. I have a question for N5AZQ before you get down to the important stuff.
Oh, we're on the important stuff already, so you just go right ahead.
Go right ahead, Bill.
Mark, are you by any chance ever run into N5AZO?
No.
Name is John, lives in Denton. N5AZO. And he's active on the 80 meter nets on Sunday. He used to live in the city. He's had an Oklahoma connection anyway, and then he moved to Texas like so many ill-informed people do. But anyway, yeah, your calls are so close. I wonder if you'd ever run into him.
No, I've never heard the call.
Okay. Continue on.
Well, he did Honest John rockets with the military, and Bill Lockett did those.
Oh, he's had quite a history of travel and radio.
Huh. That's kind of wild. Kind of wild, kind of wild. I found on, I was looking on 7290, Mary Peelman gave me the 7290 with 7290, was it traffic handlers?
Traffic net.
Yeah. And I found I was looking at pictures there and old stuff and stuff they had around there. And one of the pictures is K5HZR. And I'd never thought about chasing somebody down like that, but I'd never seen that call sign before. And
I haven't either.
See where it was one of the old black and white ones in the day.
Yeah.
And I thought that was kind of one of those brush with greatness things, but
it was good to see Mary respond to you the way she did. She's a real keeper.
I agree, and I was happy with her response. That's why I shot you a copy, because I want to keep that. I want to keep that going. That's good.
Yeah,
that's good. And hopefully, we got a guy in Tulsa that really wants, and we should do that here, is to increase to make like our SCARS Tuesday night net a traffic feeder net, so that we can pick up and drop off traffic here and get onto the nets. And this guy in Tulsa wants to do one of the linked, the UHF linked system that's up there, so he can really get a whole bunch of stuff going. So I said when we get Mary and the rest of them together, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
But that's cool. Thank you very much for pointing me to Mary.
You bet.
Has anyone have capabilities to do FT8 on 432 megahertz?
FT8 on 432. No, Ed probably would, but
I'm getting geared up there so I can, I may even do some EME on 432 now that you got me started here. So today I bought a Elecraft transverter that will hook into my K3. It's a used one I bought from a guy in Kentucky. Haven't got it yet, but that'll give me I think it's about 20 watts out on 432, and of course the moon bounces down the low end.
Yeah.
I don't have an antenna good enough for that, but I may even build an antenna with that antenna program that I forwarded to you, Mark.
Yep.
And I may build I don't know. For 432, antennas are not very big, so I can get about 20 elements on a 16-foot boom and get about 15 or 16 dB gain, which ought to be pretty good for contacts around here. Not good enough for moon bounce, but
what do you think you need for moon bounce? 20 dB?
Well, to be half decent on it, I would need about 25 dBs.
Well, you can build that.
You can
put two of those on.
These that I've got designed to build. Two of them would get you close. You could make contacts with two of them. You could do it with one, but you'd be working only big stations.
Yeah.
And but four of them would do the trick.
I'd slow down and work. I'd work you, man. Don't worry about it.
You think so?
Sure. For you, yeah. I'd go down to 30 words a minute and work you. Sure.
All right. You got something that'll operate up that frequency?
Not yet, but if we get the feed horns and the antenna built, I have no problem obtaining something to make it work. I don't know what. I haven't heard it.
Where's that dish at? Is it on your property?
Yeah.
Is it mounted?
No, it is. I got to put a piece of concrete on the ground and bolt it to it, that kind of thing. But it's. But
you can rotate it by hand.
Yeah, by hand. Yep.
Elevation and azimuth.
And elevation and azimuth. Right now, it's a kind of a screw elevation and azimuth. So the elevation is going to be harder than the azimuth.
Yeah.
The azimuth just like a 10-inch pipe.
Put a counterweight would help on that.
Yeah, and I'm sure you could easily put in a linear actuator and all that stuff. And
that's what I used on my 2-meter moon bounce antenna. I used a linear actuator, and it's a big screwdriver. Man, that thing's got the power.
Yeah.
And
it feels pretty balanced.
That's what I used for elevation. I was elevating 4 of those M squared 17 element antennas with 33-foot boom. So this thing was a huge antenna.
You didn't burn a hole in the moon, did you?
I had running 800 or 900 watts. My ERP was about 20 kW.
Yeah, I bet it was. Yeah.
Okay, now here's all the geeks who've been watching the news. China put a repeater out past the moon so they can get
they get that coordinated.
That's my question.
Does Orsi do that?
That's my question? Is what does anybody know what frequency that was?
No.
It would have to be 4 gigahertz or so.
I don't. That's what I was going to say.
I don't think it was.
Can we hit that from here?
Yeah, is that your antenna?
Not on a bow thing.
Yeah, that's my antenna.
Wow, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, I was expecting a small dish when it showed up, and that's They said 3 meter, but it feels like 12 foot. 3.7.
Well, if you was on 1296 with that dish, you could get at least 30 dBs of gain with that.
Yeah.
But you're not going to be able to get that much gain on 432. But that's what you need to shoot for, because there's getting to be quite a bit of activity on 432. And that's kind of what
your chat program said.
Yeah, that's what piqued my interest, is finding out there was some activity there. Yeah, but gotta get you.
But what do you? Physically, that's the feed horn that's there, and I've not gone to go take off what's there. What physically? Okay, I have a radio that puts out VHF sideband, and I have a coax. What are you physically hooking to when you do that feed horn? Is it? The dipole will be 38 inches across. Surely you're not putting one of those up there.
No. For 432, you'll take I built a feed horn for 2.1 gigahertz, a couple of feed horns, but one of the feed horns I built was with the coffee can and a little stub vertical in there. And for 2.1 gig, that little vertical inside the coffee can was about 1 inch and 1/16 of an inch long.
Yeah,
and where you place the little vertical inside the coffee can from the back, that's what determines your feed point impedance.
Right.
So you can move that until you find the sweet spot, move that back and forth till you get your 50 ohms. And then on the back of the coffee can, I had a low noise homebrew amplifier on the back of that, which was a converter that converted that 2.1 gig down to about 54 megahertz, top end of the 6 meter band. But I've never tried to build a feed horn for 432, but I assume you just move up from that to a larger. And I know this is not going to be a fantastic feed horn like a commercial built one.
Yeah.
But it would do for a starter, I'm pretty sure.
But is it, for a VHF, surely you've got to do something like coil it or
for
slinky?
UHF?
For VHF.
Well, we're not going to do VHF. 432 is UHF.
Oh, you've already jumped me up to UHF. Okay. Got it.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get enough gain on 2 meters.
It's a 12-foot dish, man.
Yeah. Still not enough gain.
Okay.
I think you could probably get 25 dB gain on 432. But if you go down to 2 meters, you might as well build Yagi antennas.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And a 432 Yagi is a lot smaller. It's pretty small. So you might even be able to get 25 dBs using 4 good Yagis. instead of that dish.
Oh my gosh, I don't want to do that. I'm gonna stick with UHF then. Okay, you got me. You got me.
Mark Klein, I gave you a link. Throw in to calculate your dish beam width and gain.
Yeah. You have to measure your,
Yeah, you're right around 20 dB for on axis, and then half power, it's like 16 degrees.
Oh, I just
have to measure your dish depth. And there's a formula to figure that out.
yeah. I think this was on 2 or 3 gig to start with, is what I think it was. It was aimed at GOES 16 is what it was aimed at. Or GOES 14 or the earlier version. Okay, so this is Peter's laws, and I guess this is the Chinese thing.
I don't know. Is that the one you're talking about? That's a proposal. That one right there is a proposal.
No, it's up and running.
No, the one you're looking at, I'm pretty sure is not. The next one down, LO94, got an Oscar number. I'm guessing it's that one. That's been up. No,
because this one is out there it is in a parabola foci, whatever that magic spot in space is, and it will
Lagrange point.
There you go. That's it. That's it. I wouldn't have remembered that name for nothing, but now that you said it, the Lagrange point where it stays fixed, it's in one of those, and it's behind the moon, and it's basically a repeater. So
it's a ham.
No, it's not ham. No, this is what the Chinese are using to go from their stuff down to the ground. So we could talk to them or listen to them, see what they're doing. Nope, this is not. No, it's not ham. Sorry.
Oh,
nope.
okay.
Do you know what frequency it's on?
No, that's what we're trying to figure.
E orbiter reaches Lagrange point on extended. Click, click, click. Yeah. I don't know how it's changed with an apostrophe after the G. I don't know how you really pronounce that.
I don't know. I'm German. We don't do those.
Yeah, I'm not German and we don't do those either, but
I'm Opie. And we don't do those either.
Oh, well.
Peter got a haircut.
Yeah. You missed last week.
Is that?
I was going to say, something about Peter Laws. I just can't put my finger on it, but he looks 10 years younger.
Yes.
Thank you.
Put a little lightener in it, it looks like.
No, that's all. I told him just cut the gray ones off, and he said, "Well, see what I can do." But yeah, it was
make me look 30 again.
It'd make me look bald.
30 would be good. Where did I'll dig up a picture here. I did some before and after stuff, which was pretty amusing, actually.
Well, you got to get a haircut at least once every 20 years, Peter.
December 2019.
Oh my God.
Previous one. Yep.
Wow.
Because I was like a couple weeks late in March last year. And I said, I gotta get my haircut. And I was gonna go, I think the week after we all went home, but we had that NBA game where they canceled the whole season.
March 11th.
Yeah. And it was like, yeah, I'm not gonna get my haircut. This will, a couple weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. Then I'll do it then. Well, okay. Last Thursday. So
hey, I got Andrea cuts my hair for me. But I've been going out for the past 3 weeks. I've started going out to our ham lunch here in Shawnee on Fridays.
Oh, did you?
I had not gone out for that whole time since last March, and I've just started going back. And of course, the crowd is pretty small now, and all of us has had both of our shots. And the restaurants that we go to at noon, there's hardly anybody in those places. So I feel pretty safe.
Isn't the all ham dinner coming up?
May 20th.
There you go.
I think it's 20th, 19th, 20th, whatever that is. Let's go look. Let's
See,
go
ask the
say
see if the
20th.
section manager might know.
20th. Yeah, it's Thursday. I've changed it so many times because we've dropped out so many of them, but 20th is the right one. I keep seeing that Potawatomi Friday afternoon or Friday lunch. Is that a decent deal? Or there's some folks that show up to that, Ken?
Yeah, we only had 4 people last Friday.
Well, I saw they were going to go to
We went to the Branding Iron.
yeah, I saw that, and then I want to go when it's Hamburger King, and when they get open again, and head out there.
The Branding Iron is a pretty nice restaurant in Shawnee.
Oh, is it?
I'm the one that sends out the messages to tell where we're going to eat at.
Well, you need to send it out to more people.
Yeah.
I get it off your Facebook page is what I get it from. Somebody always puts it up there.
Okay.
I keep thinking, I keep seeing the Hamburger King with the remodel. What they do? They started to remodel and then couldn't finish.
I don't know. I've never been to the Hamburger King.
Oh my gosh, really? Are you
Sounds
kidding
like
me?
a wonderful place.
Oh, it is a good place. It's an old diner, but they tore out all their sheet metal or their stainless steel and put it in about 3 weeks ago. And then they've had to redo plumbing and stuff afterwards. The expanded problems. I guess as it dried out and everything sludged up on them. But no, it's a good old diner. My wife's stepfather, his mother worked there in the 30s at the Hamburger King. So we always have to.
I think next week, I think we're going to Van's Pig Stand. Have you ever been there?
I was there for lunch today in Moore.
There's one in Moore. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Blow that up there, Mark.
Blow what up?
My picture that I put up on my.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, that's how stupid long it was.
Who's that lady that drove you to the?
Yeah, right.
haircut?
I know exactly, right?
Yeah, you don't look like
ridiculous.
Don't look like Crosby, Still, Nash and Young anymore, though. Was it Crosby Dash?
Well, I'm with you.
I never
didn't
knew
wanna
which
go
one
out-
was which, but
I didn't want to go out to the barber shop and get COVID either. So I wasn't.
Nope.
I wasn't going to go. So Andrea did it for me.
Yep. All right, you can turn off my face now.
After 5 or 6 haircuts, she got good at it.
As far as I'm concerned, it looked good. I couldn't see the back, so I didn't care.
That's what I didn't really know how long it was at the back. I mean, I knew it was long, but
I talked my wife into doing mine, and I put the comb thing on the clipper. Okay, I did that. The first pass across my head, I knew I'd put the wrong comb on.
Oh my!
Instead of going, and went, and
the lights all dimmed and the speaker slowed down.
So anyway, we just had to finish. I mean, but she won't do it.
A reverse mohawk or something, and
yeah, well,
yeah, maybe not.
So she won't do it now. Now she won't do it because of that, and it was my fault, not her fault. But so I just do it myself. I just keep doing it till it doesn't make noise anymore. And I know I've got most of them.
Does anybody know where I could buy some like 1.5 inch square tubing locally, or sure?
Aluminum?
Yeah, for a boom.
Oh, buddy, we have a place
metal
for
warehouse if you're willing to pay for it.
Which one, Phil?
Metal warehouse down on 89th.
Yeah.
Oh, that's in Moore, right?
It's kind of sort of in Moore.
Kind of right off 35, really. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
blocks off 35, I guess.
Be prepared to pull out your checkbook.
Yeah.
Mark,
I go up to Wichita and go to the place called the Yard. They've got everything you want aluminum, and it's way cheaper.
Yeah.
But
I don't
gotta
know.
go to Wichita.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
I don't know that we have a place like that around here or not. Mark, what do you think?
There was a place, and I can't remember the name, and I'll get it because I put it in my notes from one of the meetings we came up with. That was Metal Supermarket. I think, is that it?
Yeah, that's a chain. I think it's some kind of
Yes.
cooperative thing. Yeah. If you go to that website, you can dig around and find the more address.
Well,
That's
I
a
wanted
sample
to,
piece.
I wanted to try to find a local place so I could pick it up.
Yeah, this would be local.
Oh, it's local.
Oh,
There's one
okay.
in Moore.
Yeah.
Moore
Yeah.
or South Oklahoma City or
Yeah, it's just west of I-35, just south of of 235.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's,
If I
you
remember
know,
right.
it's hard to ship long pieces. The shipping gets pretty expensive when you get over
Yep.
6 or 8 foot pieces.
Well, they're pretty good down there, and they've got a good selection. They'll cut it for you, you know, for a fee, of course. You know,
This
50
is
cents a cut or
metal
something.
supermarket sand
Yeah.
that you're talking about.
Yeah,
Metal supermarkets plural.com.
but they are pricey.
Well, but have you priced aluminum? I mean, we buy it for work. It's gone up.
Yeah.
And everybody I know, we've got the guys that have built stuff recently from our office that go up there, and they're happy with the price. You know, well, let me put it's expensive, but
Well,
it's all expensive. It's a good,
if-
decent price.
If I could buy a inch and a half or inch and a 3/4 square tubing, 20 foot long, I could really build a nice 432 megahertz antenna.
See that number on the screen? You got that one?
Well,
616.
38.25.
Oh, there it is. 405. Well, my cursor's right on top of it.
616 38 1/4.
And everybody I know that goes there gets extra stuff that they didn't think they were going to need.
405 616 38 1/4. Got it. Okay.
Roger. And it looks like it's just north of 89th, west of the freeway. Oh, cool. It's right between Shields and 89th.
Oh, that's easy to get to.
Well, isn't that where the place that Phil just mentioned?
Yep.
That's the one I was talking about.
I think
Yeah.
it is. Yep.
Oh,
That's
okay.
it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think that Metals Supermarket is like a website with cooperating stores, right? Like each store is a different store, but they all play on the same website. I think that's the
Could be.
sense I got. But
You
I
mean
know the
like
thing is-
Sears?
And if,
like what?
Like Sears now, I think.
Oh, jeez.
or Radio Shack.
You don't want to be like Sears these days.
So anyway,
Well, you figure it out, and if you need me to go pick it up during the day, I can make that happen.
you deliver it and pay for it too?
Well, I'd darn sure deliver it if there's Friday afternoon, Friday noon lunch involved. I'd probably do that.
Oh, we could do that for sure. Hey, wouldn't
I
it
don't
be
know how
nice?
much we're talking for. If we're talking, if we're talking about a decent price, I'd fund it. But if we're talking about,
No,
if you go hog wild,
no,
like
I'm,
you
I'm
do.
gonna go. I'm planning on going hog wild.
that's what I'm afraid
So,
of.
so how big a hurry are you in?
No, I'm not in any hurry. I
Oh,
still haven't got I don't have the transverter yet. And I'm still trying to finish up my solar panel stuff that I'm working on. So
Whoa, tell us more.
a couple more weeks and I've got a transverter ordered. I just paid for it through PayPal a while ago. So I don't know when I'll get it, but it's coming from Kentucky. So that'll get me on 432 megahertz with all mode with a K3. It's an Elecraft transverter. So
that'll be
it'll
great.
plug right into the back of my K3
Yeah.
and give me 432 all mode stuff.
Where's your K4s, man? Where's your K4s?
You can't, they're not shipping them yet. But
Well, we'll have to work on 432. I've got my 910 and I've got 15 elements, I think. So.
Oh yeah, get that up in there. We can at least make some local contacts and then try to copy some EME stuff off of it. And some of the big guns we should be able to copy.
Speaking of solar, Ken, anybody seen the Harbor Freight's newest 100-watt solar system they're selling now?
I haven't seen it in a long time. They got the price down pretty good on it now. But
No, they had one that was less than that as far as wattage, but their new system now is full 100 watts. So amperage wise, it's not great, but 100 watts.
yeah.
I was disappointed on the rating that came up on the amperage though.
Well, most of those 100-watt panels are only 5 or 6 amps.
This one said 8.
Yeah.
Well,
The
8
open
times
voltage
12,
is-
that's math, folks. 100 watts is 8 times 12. So
What?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Math?
Wait, whoa. Okay, I'm sorry.
that's 96, but
I was
Yep.
told there would be no math.
Sorry, you're lied to again. Obviously, that is the case.
$100 per watt.
Yeah, it's the prices have dropped so much in the last 10 years. It's
But the
crazy.
problem is there's
Good
more
crazy,
to
but
it.
crazy.
There's more to it than the solar panel.
Well, you need the whole charge controller if you're doing batteries. You need an inverter if you're doing
Well, you have
AC.
to have a way to mount the solar
It's
panel.
got a kit. It's an actual kit that they
Yeah.
Talking
You
about
buy
this
from-
$195 one.
How much is it, Mark Clayton?
it's 100. I don't remember what. Yeah,
Is that what you look at the 194?
Yeah.
$194.99.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thunderbolt.
That's $2 per watt.
With everything. Yeah.
That's still pretty cheap.
Thunderbolt. Well, that's a vaguely American sounding name. I bet it's
Yeah.
made in America.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Made in China.
just look at the specs on it though, Mark.
The what am I gonna the stutter. I had something before we found out it was American made.
Yeah,
I can't
American
remember
made.
now.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Like everything.
Yeah.
That's
Oh.
about $70 more than they were 2
Yeah,
years ago.
They were like $140. Now they also go on sale all the time. That's what I was going to say. Is that have we figured out when these go on sale and how much they are when they're on sale?
They
Yeah, or
usually
you get those coupon things.
Yeah.
they usually run them
Coupon?
on sale in the summertime for camping.
Coupons for Harbor Freight. Wow.
Hey, I'm gonna check out, everybody.
Okay, checker outer.
See you, Mike.
See you later, Mike.
Watch out for the
Okay.
snow.
Be good.
Hey, as soon as I get my head beam built, I'll catch you on the 10-meter net.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Oh, cool.
All right.
All right.
Good night.
Very cool.
That would be cool.
Very
Well,
much.
See you, sir.
Ken, what kind of, are you running batteries with it?
I'm going to be set up where I can do both. I've got 2 grid tie inverters, and each one of them is a kilowatt, 1,000 watts each.
How much panel are you planning?
I right now have 8 panels, which is 1,280 watts,
Okay, peak.
and I'm actually getting about they're 1,280 watts panels. I'm actually getting about 800-900 or a kilowatt if you got good sun through the middle of the day. But each one of these grid tie inverters are going on each phase of the 220 line. So I have a kilowatt inverter on each phase of the line coming in, but there's only about 500 watts going into each one of them. So these things are running cool, should never have a problem.
Never have a problem.
I'm running them, like half power right now. And then I have a solar charger to charge batteries. So my plan is right now, I'm just running the grid tie inverters, and I can switch over to batteries if I have a full power outage. But the grid tie inverters are no hassle. You hook them up and you forget about them. The batteries, you're checking them all the time, and
yeah, grid tie. Yeah, batteries are
and they're expensive.
Yeah. They're definitely not no maintenance.
No,
I mean, they're especially if some of the newer chemistries, I guess, are pretty close to it, but even so, it's not 100% maintenance free.
Yeah, SOK has some batteries that are just about half the price. They're lithium iron phosphate, and of course they're maintenance free. and they're about half of what some of the other most of the other batteries like Battleborn and stuff. They're literally close to half of what they are.
The Battleborn, it's a LiPo 4, 100-watt battery is $900 and some for one battery.
Yeah, you can get a SOK 206-watt battery for about $1,000.
Yeah.
Or you can get 100-watt at $500 and something.
Is that a 12 volt or?
Yeah, 12 volt.
Because I know they make a 24 volt one too.
Yeah. Are you going to make, is your system going to be 12 volt?
Right now I'm 12 volt, but the way to go is
48 or yeah, or at least, yeah.
24 or 48 volts. That way you get the wire size down.
Yeah, higher the better.
220 and invert it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with is 48 volt. I just ordered a dozen of those SOK batteries myself.
That's the way to go. I'm just starting small and building up as I go. As soon as I get all of this, right now I'm just tweaking it a little bit and trying to get my wiring harness and all that straightened out. And then I'm going to quit messing with it for a while and start building.
No, you're not. You're never going to stop messing with it.
I'm going to build a 432 antenna.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm going to start gathering up parts for that. But
what are you getting out of that engine generator?
That's Don.
I have a generator.
Oh,
now.
That's Don. What'd you say out of that one, Don? 24?
Yeah, 24 kW Generac. We own all electric house. We have a sump pump, a basement pump.
Oh.
And there goes the can. And I didn't even touch anything that time.
Start up the sump pump.
Yeah, we got a
fill in the cellar.
We got a sump pump, a lift pump, and a water well. So no power equals no flushy.
Yeah.
So no flushing. We found out very quickly during a several-hour power outage that no flushy kind of sucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but we already actually at the time we already had the generator scheduled. But yeah, we put on a 500-gallon LP tank because we do not have nat gas here, and
it's on the way to go.
And we've got this guy wired in here. 24K is about as big as they make in a air-cooled Generac generator. You pretty much beyond that, you're going to have to go liquid cooled to spend a lot of bucks for it. But for an all electric house, it should just do us just fine.
I'm sure.
Even if you're not all electric, I've got gas heat, but you got to have something to light it, and you got to have something to move the air around. You still got
right. But you probably don't need 24K. You might need 13 or 17.
Right. Yeah. Well, I do it with 8, but
yeah, exactly. In my case, it was the kind of thing of the labor and install costs were pretty much the same whether it was going to be a 13, 17, 20, or 24. And I'm like, well, let's just put the 24. That's the newest technology one they've got. And then we know we're good.
So I've got a question for what you're showing right now. Is that the transfer switch?
On the one on the left, the tall thing is the transfer switch. Yeah, I'm sorry the resolution isn't better.
I thought it was a phone booth somebody ripped apart.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Now the resolution's better as he's zooming in.
I've had 2 Generac guys come out and to my house, and one of them was telling me I had to have these fancy circuit breakers that would pick and choose what was, where the computer could decide what was being powered and what wasn't.
Load shed.
You can do it that way. with a 24K generator, I shouldn't need any load shed.
Well, and that's what I was looking at. I think, he was, I mean, I have 2 air conditioners here in the house, although, I mean, we use them both, there's an upstairs and a downstairs.
Well, but I mean, with even with 2 air conditioners, you could do a low voltage disconnect, which is an inexpensive contactor, and just drop the thermostat line to that particular air conditioner.
Or a timer where you time it, where it shuts off for Salem.
Exactly. Yeah.
On
one works this hour, one works the next hour.
Yeah. Well, he does. His is, it just shuts off for 5 minutes and lets the system stabilize. And then one of them comes on at 5 minutes and one comes on at 5 minutes, 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know this. I've had two guys come out here, and honestly, neither one of them acted like they really wanted my money.
Salem was real happy with Baker Brothers. If you want to do that, if you want to call
write that down.
Baker Brothers, they do.
For one thing, I don't want the generator right next to my electric meter, kind of like this. I want it hidden. That would put it right out in front of my house almost. So I want it around the corner, and it's going to require a little bit of work.
In my case, it's semi-hidden. I mean, the panels, the transfer panel's obvious. The generator's back next to my deck, but when it's running, people are going to hear it.
Oh yeah,
and they're going to be pissed because they don't have one.
Why do you think I have one? Because my next door neighbor does. No, I was actually wanting one before he put one in, because we when we were in Kansas, we had a 2-day power outage and it totally freaking sucked. And I sleep with a CPAP, and I was lazy. I didn't bring my portable generator out the first night because I thought it was going to be a 3 or 4 hour power outage. So I didn't get any sleep that first night.
Yeah.
So the next morning I got the portable out and ran the cords and, etc. But got some sleep the next night. But we actually lost power on Sunday.
Hey, Don.
OEC put in automatic reclosers on all their lines, and man, is that cut down. We get little blips.
Wow.
We get blips every once in a while because something will short out. It'll open, but then it'll close again. And
now did they do a three times you're done?
I expect
that's what ours up here.
Yeah, because they have to finally go off if it really is short.
Yeah, well, we of course, being in the business I'm in the FAA, we deal with a lot of remote equipment, and we do see a lot of 3 times you're done.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what these are.
Almost
that's what ours are out here.
I think I heard something from Phil. Let's let Phil go there.
Sorry.
Almost all circuit breaker reclosers will trip the lockout in 3 trips.
That was my understanding.
If it's a bolted fault, then they've got to lock it out anyway. And that allows the other reclosers to reclose and pick up as much of the distribution circuit as they can pick up.
Right.
Now I have a question about your generator. Hey, Don.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've got a generator set up just like this. Did anybody give you any grief about coming directly off the meter into the ATO panel?
No. Local inspector was out here, looked at it. He was fine with it.
I assume the ATO is a fully Curvacentrics rated ATO, right?
Yes, and it is NEMA 3 rated for outdoors.
3 rated for rain. Yes.
Yeah. So what they did was now you're seeing what you're seeing here is only the input to the meter is hooked up at this point. So they ran the output of the meter into the ATO,
right?
The transfer switch,
right?
And then they ran the output of the transfer switch back through that hole, which is really tight, but that's as big as the hole. That's as big as the panel gave them. And then they ran it back into the normal hole to the main panel. So it's actually a lot cleaner than if we had tried to do this inside the house.
Yeah. Well, mine's just like that, except mine's running on natural gas. But the code inspectors in Norman, Oklahoma, are
Mhm.
absolutely crazy, and they gave me more grief than everybody all told.
What did they want?
They
They
didn't know, probably.
they didn't know. They wanted me to take out the generator altogether because they didn't know how to inspect it. So I ended up with a meter feeding a main panel in the garage, and then coming off of the main panel with a branch circuit that went over to the generator ATO panel, and I've got the generator tied on one side of the contactor and the commercial main sub tied off of the other side. So I ended up with another breaker panel that just protected circuits. So that way, I did talk to the electrician into running a big piece of conduit between the main and the sub panel. So if I want to move more stuff over to the generator, over to the protected panel, I can do it.
Okay.
See, when I built my house, I had a sub panel put in that just feeds key circuits like my freezer, my refrigerator, my furnace fan, things like that. So if I want to, if I could just feed that panel, I could survive. I'm just not going to have everything.
And I understand that, and I've considered that, and I was just in a good position to do it. My wife works for the electrical company that did this, so we got a really nice discount on it.
Yeah.
And
don't run out of
service.
Propane and propane accessories. Yeah. I mean,
exactly. Well, no, we didn't get a discount on the propane.
I laugh at that, but when we had the big freeze, right before the big freeze hit here, I decided I better check my propane, and I went out and I only had like 100 gallons of propane left.
Oh.
And so then I called my propane guy, and he's like, "We can't get there, our trucks won't even start." And Anyway, it was so I was we were like not even using hot water because I was afraid I was going to run out of propane. And I wanted to save it for the heat.
Yeah, besides, you really want to buy propane in August.
Yeah, no kidding.
when the price is down, in the winter time, that price goes way up.
Yeah,
especially during an ice storm.
Yeah.
My propane guy fills mine up the 1st of September every year. He just comes out and fills it up.
Yeah, mine generally does, and I kind of let that slip. But
how many gallons do you guys have? Do you guys
got 1,000 tank, so I've got 800 gallons when it's full. So.
Wow.
Yeah, you only run 80%.
Yeah, but
I got a 500-gallon tank, but it's 400 when it's full.
Yeah.
But the only thing I'm running off it is the generator and the gas grill.
And that ought to last you a while. You can cook a lot of steaks on that grill.
And honestly, I prefer charcoal. So.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I actually had propane piped out to my deck, and I've never hooked it up to anything because I prefer.
When we lived in Illinois, we had that. Boy, that was great.
Yeah,
that never goes dry. You never have to refill it. It's awesome.
Yeah, I've got natural gas out on my deck.
Well, let's not talk about your cooking, Phil.
No, it's somebody. He gave that job up, right, for the club. Who's the cook now?
Ron
Laspiza, right? Yeah.
Ron. Yeah, we have some issues going there and there right now. I may have to come back and do it.
Quality wasn't there.
No. The quality was great. Because the last time we did any cooking was at Denny's Picnic.
Yeah.
You remember? Well, last year we didn't have a field day, and the year before, we just had sandwiches.
It's getting It's getting darker. All right, I'm gonna put something on the screen, and only one of you is probably gonna figure out what it is.
Make it bigger.
Looks like an access point.
Yeah, it does.
Looks like an access
A
point.
modem or something.
I think it's a hockey mask.
Could be a hockey
It's
mask.
got breathing holes. And,
Electronic whoopee cushion.
No, that's an access
yeah,
point.
I know what it is. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say there he is. It showed up today. This is my
Yeah.
Eslo home automation doodad.
Oh boy. Now, is that one a do-it-yourself one, or do you deal with a corporate spy system?
No, do it yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't do anything that requires any monthly subscription fees or any of that kind of stuff. You know, I had this friend that you know, he had this whole system, you know, his thermostats and all this kind of stuff, and it was like, you know, he was paying like $250 a month, you know, for camera.
Oh, that's not what I meant. I just didn't want when I say, hey, hey, computer, turn on the lights, I don't want that to be checked over in Palo Alto, California or something before the lights go. You know what I mean? None of that Hey Siri stuff.
The best thing of the whole thing is the little blue light's still on, and here's the power cord in my hand.
Oh, it's got a battery.
Wow, that's magic.
Built-in battery.
Cool. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's the first thing I was going to do is build a battery for. I forgot. I ordered this back in January when Sam made me crazy. And
what is the device?
It's an Eslo Secure, EZLO Secure.
Does that work with everything IoT or?
It's a Z-Wave controller.
It does Z-Wave. It does Zigbee. It does.
There are few terms I hate more than Internet of Things. Man,
I know, right?
I played with the claw machine online 25 years ago. Checked the Coke temperature at Carnegie Mellon. It's not new, man.
Does it do any Philips Hue stuff?
It will connect to Philips Hue's.
Okay.
The idea is this is the controller hub.
Yeah.
That is the brains of all this stuff. And this is a brand new one. Sam's got one like this. He gave me an old junky one, which is awesome.
I gave him my first one.
Yeah, which was awesome because I scratched it and I put it at my mom's house and hooked a thermostat and she wanted a light to go on and off. And every time I went over there, I had to reprogram the stupid light because it was a mechanical timer. And
so it'll work with like Nest and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Well, Nest went to the dark side, right? Isn't that now Amazon?
Yeah,
Google.
I believe so.
Well, I was interested in those Nests until they got into one of those ecosystems. It's like, yeah, no.
Now it's all cloud based.
Yeah, no.
All right, you know, I look at Nest. I looked at the Nest thermostat, and the thing that got me is that it learns, but it learns what happens right in front of it. Not, you know, if like in my house, my thermostat's not like in a place where we go very often. It's like right in the middle of our dining area, and so it's not gonna. I don't know. It'd be great if you had a little apartment or you know something where you pass by it all the time and it knew when you were home but had some good features, but not for me.
Yeah, they used to be independent, but then they got bought by Google, and Google used to have that "don't be evil" thing, and then they realized they couldn't make much money that way, and so they got rid of that. And
yeah, I remember when those Nests first came out; they were great.
Yeah,
there you go.
And now it's like, yeah, no.
Now the bad news.
Mine's pretty high tech. It's got this bimetallic strip thing and a contact.
Wow! So it like moves like when the temperature changes.
Probably even makes noises, clicks and things. You know.
Cool. So it's an audible. It gives you an audible alarm. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's mechanical.
That's right.
It's got an old
audible.
mechanical thermostat.
You can hear the thing work.
Yeah, hear it. Little thing click.
That's right. See, mine doesn't.
Only mechanical, Batman.
Now, what I understand is, and I'm checking it now, is that this new one will not work online. You have to use the phone app, is what I understand, and that's the only thing I don't really like. Because mine here, that's blown out. Mine here shows that it's up and running, and the online version where you can see my mom's house is working just fine on the computer,
Right.
but it will not work on the.
I do mine both ways. I mean, I like the app on my phone, and
Yeah, but this one will not. Then the cool thing for me was when we were going through the freezing part, I could make sure all her stuff was still working remotely.
yep. Yeah, I've got tons of stuff in mine. I've got scenes set up that when we're out of town, it makes lights come on and off, and dogs bark.
Open and shut the garage door.
I haven't done that yet. I'm the one thing I have resisted is like the lock on my front door. They make one that I could put on there that I could.
Yeah.
I don't know, just resisted that. And I actually did buy one of the garage door things, but I've never put it on. It's still laying here.
Hey, Mark, what was that? You said Eslo?
Yeah.
EZLO, Eslo.
Okay.
Easy Low. Yeah. Vera is the name of the company.
Correct. And the light at my mom's comes on. It comes on at sunset, and it goes off at 11 at night. And it comes on 30 minutes before sunrise, and then goes off at sunrise.
What's the price point on those things?
This
$200.
This was two. They have a junior one that's, I don't know what that one is, $80 something.
Okay.
But this one is supposed to do, it's the fastest, meanest processor. It has the battery backup. It also has an LTE option so that you can hook it up if you want to an LTE source. If the your internet goes out, you can still do it that way. It also it's got enough where you can actually run your entire house alarm system through it. So it's got a higher capacity. That one takes $200. The cool thing was the one that Sam gave me as a trade up, they gave me $50 off. So it was $150. So I need.
So the junior one, I guess I'll have to look, but I'm guessing it doesn't have their battery backup built in.
Correct.
Yeah, mine doesn't.
That's okay. I've got everything on battery anyway.
Well, that's exactly right. Is it, how much? Let's see. There's Eslo. Is that Eslo Plus? Is that what they call it? But I started playing. Yeah, $90. There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
And
that's more in my price range.
You can do scenes, and I mean, there's so much stuff. I mean, I've got, like right now, I've got my wife's getting her plants started inside, and I've got plug-in modules that are turning lights on and off on our plants, and everybody thinks we're growing pot here, but we're not. Growing tomatoes, but
sure, that's what they call it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I've got one of those Amazon Echo Pluses that's got like the Philips Hue bridge built into it, but I'm right there with you, Peter. I don't want to be sending stuff up to the cloud and back if I don't have to.
Well, my Amazon stuff interfaces with my Vera. I mean, I can lay down in bed. I lay down in bed at night and I go, what's her name?
Alexa.
Echo. Yeah, well, or Alexa. We got both. Alexa, turn off the lamp, and our lamp goes out. It's.
I can do that too. It requires me to reach up to the lamp, but.
Yeah, well. When you're all snuggled in, and you're just,
in your case,
got that little nest built,
Speaking of nest.
In your case, Peter, the assistant's name is Jeanette.
No. That no.
That must be an inside joke.
His wife.
It's my wife.
Oh, okay.
KB5TFX.
Well, and I'll just say there's some other cool things. Like I've got floodlights on the outside of my house, and I've got to where all I have to do is say emergency, and all the floodlights come on.
Well, that's cool.
Flips all the switches and.
Yeah, that's my big first one is outdoor lighting.
I mean, I can push a button on my phone and light up my house like Shea Stadium. It's. Wait a minute, they tore that down, didn't they?
They did, yes.
Hey, Mark Klein.
City Field.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mark Klein, since you're ham, you need to hook that up through a Raspberry Pi to issue CIV commands to your ICOM radio.
Well, that's why I got the big one.
Yeah. Automate the ham shack as well.
That's there's so much stuff. I quit buying because there's what they call internet devices that really just you get with internet connection and they operate, and they're much cheaper and they're the newer, fancier ones. And I just don't know how they work with this controller. So
Can you write an Ansible playbook for it?
I don't know about Ansible, but there's supposed to be some scripting that you can do, and you can write scenes. And oh man, I'm going to say yes, you can write a script, but I don't know if it's Ansible.
I was making a joke.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of cool stuff like water valves. You can put water sensors around your house, and if any of them sense water, it turns off your water. What I do is I actually bought a big switch that controls my pump and put it in line to my pump, and it's rated for 240 and all that. And if any of my water sensors sense water where they shouldn't, it just kills the power to the pump. So I'm still going to have some flow, but it's not going to fill me up like a bathtub either.
So it's a solid state switch.
Yeah, it's I'm not sure what it is, but it was rated for a well pump, amperage and all that, and it ties into my controller, so it all goes through the controller. And so if I'm going on vacation, I can just push a button on my phone and turn my well pump off too. So, but
yeah, that'd be a disaster when you're on vacation if your house flooded.
Yeah,
bad news.
Have you looked at any flow devices, Sam?
I looked at one at one time. There was a real cool one I saw at a show that actually learned, it would learn like when you flushed a toilet, or something like that. So it ignored, it knew that was a toilet flushing, this amount of flow for this length of time, and it would ignore that versus if this amount of flow, but if it kept going, and then it would alarm. But I can't remember what. I got to tell you a funny story. My neighbor across the street's husband was out of town one time, and she called me and she said, "Oh my God, I've got a water line busted. Come over here." And I run over to her house. There's water pouring out from under her garage door, which is where her well tank and softener and all's in her garage. And so I run in there, and she's just soaking wet. She keeps trying to get into this closet where all this stuff is to turn the water off. And so I just walked over to the fuse panel and flipped the breaker that said well pump, and she was like, "You SOB." I didn't hardly get my feet wet.
That's good. If you're playing with the electrical panel, that's good not to have wet feet. So
well, I had to walk through the water before I got to the electrical panel, but I'm not standing in the water. I jumped up in the air, flipped the breaker.
There you
looked
did.
like Michael Jordan.
I'm going to believe that.
Are we about to blow away?
No, there is a storm moving up towards us, but
I had 3 tornadoes this afternoon in
down Texas. Yeah,
there's still a pretty good thing down around Grandfield, Texas. I guess Geronimo down in there. But it's going to go. It's going straight toward Moore. It's not going to come up here where I am. It's way south.
I thought you were closer in the thing than we were.
Yeah, I'm on.
There he comes back.
Galen, that looks like it's all gonna move to the south of us. Does that fit what you've been seeing?
Oh, I think we're going to get wet, but I don't.
Well,
think we're
yeah,
gonna get...
wet's okay.
Wet's okay.
It's
spring. I mean,
hailed and tornadoed it.
So there was a little cell earlier over toward Union City, Manco, off over in there, but it looks like it's pooped out too.
Sounds good.
That's the way I look at it too. I just as soon get a full night's sleep after I do the Aries net.
Why am I not seeing you on the screen here?
Hey, Mark. Me?
Mark. Yeah.
don't know.
Galen's got like a weather map going.
I think Mark's got it pinned, so it's only him.
No?
Yeah, I
Good.
had to.
Mark, I can't see anybody else but you.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
No
it was
offense, Mark,
pinned.
but, yeah.
Yeah, I had to change the gallery.
Oh, there he is. Oh, okay.
Thank you.
WX5 MOR. It says right on there. Okay, I gotcha.
It says weather nerds are us. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I did the Weather Museum is looking to do a warning exhibit. And Galen, did you ever find any parts or pieces for a siren laying around?
No, I've kind of forgot about it, and I've been hooked up anyway. We've got EM conference tomorrow and Thursday, so
that's right. They're wanting to do they've got somebody coming in July, and they really want to know about what warning systems like the sirens and that kind of stuff. So the Galen and David Grizzle and I are playing with them to try to come up with something. And today, during all of that, my goal was to say birth to death. You get the day one from the SPC and then show the watches and the warnings. And I was able to capture screenshots of that whole process today. And that could be kind of cool to use if anybody has any weather presentations that they ever want to do. I've got all that screenshot stuff, but it shows watches and warnings and then what my goal, what I want to do is they're trying to, David's trying to get an old siren that's up there, maybe a Thunderbolt or something that goes roundy, and hang it in the museum and have it operating.
hang it in the museum.
Yeah. Why?
Have it going around and around.
You realize how loud those things are.
No. We would not. Yeah,
they're pretty heavy too. That 2T that I've got, I think the shipping weight on it was like 600 pounds.
Yeah, we could do that. That roof will take it. There's support beams. There's support beams. But what I want to do is put it up there and then build a little Raspberry Pi, whoever's giving me the Raspberry Pi crap, that would play the video, and that when it came to the warning sign or the watch sign, we would take a weather radio that's sitting on the desk.
You need to talk to, oh God, what's his name? I think he's got his ham license.
Flash the little doodad and then play the thing. And
he's
then,
up in Midwest City. I think he's got a Thunderbolt that runs.
Talking about Raymond?
Raymond, yeah. What's his? I forget what his. See, he has his ham call, doesn't he?
Raymond Woods.
Yeah, Ray Woods. Yeah, he could probably hook a brother up probably.
Who is this one? This Albert guy that David put on the list. Do you know him, Galen?
Albert? I don't know any Alberts.
I think it was Albert.
Wasn't he the
Andy Goddard.
That's it.
Oh yeah, Andy or one of his minions will have all sorts. Andy does all my siren work.
Oh, okay.
And between him and his dad, they've installed like almost every siren that the city of Moore's ever had, including the 6 originals.
Perfect. That's what the goal is. But
it was done with civil defense money in 1956, right?
Actually, Moore didn't get any sirens until 1970.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I just looked up that Thunderbolt and I thought that's not a tornado siren. That's an air raid siren. We used to have one right across the street from my house in Nebraska when I was, in the.
Okay, so if you really want to look something up that's cool.
Oh boy. I know
you know where I'm headed here.
Yeah.
Look
Chrysler?
up Chrysler Victory Siren.
All right.
God. If only I had about 10 of them.
Oh my gosh.
Somebody got
pull that around town during parades, and
it's it's not a 426 Hemi, it's a 392 Hemi, if I'm not mistaken. And those of you who think I'm joking, you're wrong.
I delayed so that you all got to see it for yourselves first. I'll bring it up here. And for the rest of you, that was on a pole, correct?
What is the matter?
It was on like a fire spotter tower.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. I think there weren't very many of them built.
How many would you need?
Well, I mean, one for each state, right? I mean,
And
There it is. There it
and-
is.
And they all wrote, the whole thing rotated, engine included.
Oh my gosh.
yeah, they're not messing around really.
Well, the one I Googled it was red and it's on a trailer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but that was.
Yeah, well,
Oh, there's my favorite.
Ah,
Yeah.
I hadn't
Also,
seen that.
also a Chrysler.
Like a redneck siren.
Yeah,
Makes the car go backwards.
there's the one that
Or
That's what
cop,
I'm feeling,
it's got a cop motor though. Cop motor, cop brakes.
you
I
know.
want to mount one on a trailer and pull it behind a Calamity Jane.
Oh, jeez.
That's
know-
a 426 Hemi in that thing.
Yes, it is, Phil.
Be good for tailgaters.
Man, you know that if you see that and more, Galen's got all the budget money he's ever needed.
Yeah. 0 to 60 in 5 seconds.
God, look at that thing. Wait, that's a different one. That's two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks like a
Long
tractor, a
trailer.
muffler off.
Yeah.
Looks like a.
Well, it's just a header pipe. Like you're going to hear the motor on top of the siren.
No, looks like a radiator off of a
If-
tractor.
Yeah.
If you go to, I think there's a webpage about these that has some audio of them firing one of the engines up.
It's actually it's
Those
an
are
older
good.
Hemi. It's a 331 Hemi. It's still 180 horsepower, but
Jeez Louise.
There's a couple of YouTube videos on
Uh,
Victory Air Raid sirens.
Hey, Galen, somebody's hollering at you on the 2-meter repeater.
Thank you, because I've got it turned down.
138 D.
Oh my God. It's late.
D rating.
try the radio real quick. Figured it would be quicker. But yeah, I'll send him a text. If he's coming.
Yeah, I'm here. What you need?
Detroit had 20 of them. That's, I guess, not a surprise.
I'm here. What do you need?
Detroit.
God. Sorry.
That schedule, because I had on my phone for a while and they had rescheduled to do it, but I see.
But I was the only one that did that.
The Wikipedia page has a list of where they were, and some of them are still up, but non-operational.
Oh yeah, how you gonna? get the
Yeah,
funds to pull that down?
exactly. And that's why they're still up. Yep, it's awesome.
Wow. But yeah, the idea is to play the video and then trigger the like a warning box, you know, the same device, trigger it so it lights up and woo, does its thing, and then have some audio in there. What my sequence said was that we'd have ham radio guys coming in and say, yeah, we're on position. Yeah, we're there, you know, siren or a tornado on the ground, that kind of stuff. And then I wanted, of course, because it's me, Emily Sutton to give a cut in where you have the TV people do their thing. And then we need to get some helicopter and some TV video after the effect is what we need to put for this demo. So I don't know. We'll have to go find Emily and see if she'll do it for us.
You just want to see Emily Sutton.
You darn right. I'm not. Exactly
We all
right.
do.
What do you want to do? Mike Morgan? No.
No.
No,
No.
absolutely not.
David Panic? No. No.
No.
You know that Emily's married to one of my firemen.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, Galen, we have there's our deal.
Hey,
There's
Galen,
our-
is she the one that sang at the EM meeting
Yes.
a couple years ago?
Yes.
Beautiful voice.
Yeah.
She sings like a lark.
Yeah. she did.
Amazing.
No, I figured
They're bodybuilders.
Yeah. I forgot that he was down there. Yeah. Well, when we get there, Galen, now I know who to come visit. It's like 2 minutes worth of tape is all she'll have to do. That'd be great.
What is it you're needing, Mark?
That for that that museum piece, the video from
I could probably also talk to Mike Armstrong or Jed Castles, either one.
all three of them would be cool.
Field meteorologist Mike Armstrong.
Yeah.
Whoa, you know who you need to get, don't you, Mark?
Megan?
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be cool too.
You better hurry, because I think this is her last week in Tulsa, or at the TV station.
At the TV station, yep.
Yep. It is.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that she was getting out of TV.
Do we know where she's going yet?
Yeah, weather call services. She's going to do online stuff. Is that right? Weather call? I think
Yes.
if they're based in Tulsa, that's who it is. Then yeah.
Yeah, it's Valerie Sanders and her company.
Okay.
Yeah, Galen needs one of these sirens. What he needs.
What? Chrysler?
Yeah.
No, I need 4 or 5 of them.
Hey, did Lucian talk to you since for the weekend? Galen?
No.
I talked to him about DEC stuff, and he said no, but he did say you and I and him needed to get together to talk about Oxcom. And I said,
yeah, okay.
I said I'll do whatever Galen tells me to do.
Yeah, I got bigger fish to fry than that right now. So
yeah, okay.
And speaking of, I'm going to back off here and do the Aries net.
I'm going to throw in here that just
12
remind you
seconds.
they're doing a tailgate at Edmond this Saturday.
Yeah. And before I forget, I've got a screenshot of every one of you, so you'd better answer when I call.
Next Saturday on the 6th.
It's on
No, it's on the 1st.
No, it's on the 6th.
Well, I got another email saying that was a mistake. It's on
That was a
the 1st,
mistake.
which is Saturday, coming Saturday.
Usually on club day.
Yep. They moved it earlier. It was on the 6th, and I don't know why they put it on a Thursday. I think somebody screwed up is what I'm thinking.
What? No way.
Because I can't make any good story for why you would change it from a Saturday to a Thursday.
Speaking of nets and Aries and whatnot, Mark, whatever you said to people, it's working because they're sending me mail.
I put it on the web and I put it on.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah, it's on. Go to the net pages. You're famous.
Okay.
And then
that's fine.
What's his name? Paul Teal is the one that's really pushing.
I've already incorporated his changes, and I just got a mail a little while ago from a Mike Toole in Creek County. So
that's up by Tulsa. Those guys played together. So
yeah. So
yeah, I stirred when I stirred Aries pot. Whoo.
Yeah.
But it's good. Woo. It's just everybody's like, cool, let's do something.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go through the ones that have a call sign associated with them. I'm probably going to go dig up their email addresses. Actually, I'll probably make a list and give it to you, and you can give me the email addresses back. And I'm going to email those people and say, hi, we have a listing that says X, Y, and Z, and I'm going to guess at least Y and maybe Z are wrong.
Yeah.
Like the ATV net, I'm pretty sure that's not real.
Yeah.
And I've been telling people, I said the idea is we're going to do a database of nets. Aries ones will be marked as Aries ones, and they'll end up on Aries okay, but we'll probably use the database for other things too. But
yep. No, I saw that. That's perfect. And
yep.
That's one of those things that blew up. It's like, we could do this. And then you came in, thank you very much, and said, I'll manage that. And it's like, woohoo. And I have talked to, thanks to Bill Baker, I have talked to KE5LTA, which is Mary Peelman.
She was the first one I was thinking of emailing.
Yep. And she
tested at our test session.
Did she really?
I think so.
With that,
what's her last name again?
Peelman, PEELMAN. And she's a really nice gal. And
she's into all this stuff.
Yeah. And she's going to get the other net controls together the net managers together, and we're going to try to figure out how we can get traffic stuff working properly. And then there's a group out of Tulsa that wants to do do a traffic net on their linked UHF repeaters out of Tulsa.
TARC, yeah.
Yeah, TARC. And then I think it'd be cool to do that with our
do you have a section traffic manager? Because that's
No.
properly the traffic manager's job, and maybe she would like to be the traffic manager.
He was there. I did gain some points because I said my goal is to build a database on Aries OK that the net manager people could just
look at
their time stuff, their people, and that wouldn't be a clerical job anymore. It would be something else. So hopefully one of the people from the net controls will step up. And I think there's 2 or 3 that are motivated to do something now. So
she tested with us in February of 2007.
There you go.
And she upgraded to general at that test. And she got her license with us in January of 2007. So there you go.
So she's got a whole bunch but this net stuff is just, I mean, we've got stuff. Everybody comes back and says, yeah, I was EC of that county 15 years ago. It's like, oh, you got anybody else who might be doing it? Yeah, go talk to so-and-so. They're doing it. Okay. But it's that's been a big stir there, and I'm glad it's happening, but
good.
But it's slopping out, it's wiping out my list of I had a whole bunch more county emergency coordinators, and we're down to about 30 some.
Well, it's one of those things, right? It's like if you're going to do it, you should do it.
Yep. And
having a list of nets or people or whatever, none of which are actually doing what it says they're doing, that doesn't help anybody. So
yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of stuff. But the guys are there, good guys and gals are good. So we just gotta get them all wound up. And this new website's awesome. We've got 800 people, and I think 130 have signed in so far. So that's probably the active number of people.
Yeah, probably, which is actually pretty good for the state. That's not bad.
To a county, yeah.
Yeah. Well, roughly, yeah.
So if you're an Aries person and you're listening to me, go check yourself out on ariesok.org. And if you don't show up there, sign in, and you don't cost you anything. You don't have to be a member or anything. Just sign up, put your name in. So in case there's emergency, we know where to find you.
All right. I'm going to duck out.
Quack, quack.
See you later.
Get on the 2 meter net.
Looking good, Peter.
Yeah, thanks.
See you later.
See you, Peter.
Gotta be able to jump a lot higher. Lighter.
Yes.
Hey, Ken, I got a question for you on that aluminum you were looking for.
Yeah.
You said you need a 20-foot stick. What do you need in shorter pieces? I mean, do you have a list?
You mean to go along with the,
well, no.
The 20-foot piece would be the boom, and then I need solid 1/4 inch pieces for the elements.
Okay, so you need a full 20-foot piece.
You know, it would be nice if you had a 1-piece boom with no splices in it. And that's why I wanted to buy it locally.
Right.
You know, if you mail order it, you're going to have to get shorter pieces and splice them together. But
well, I may end up going to Wichita. You know, I go up every couple of months, and I'll get with you if I do. Just see if you still need.
You know, square tubing is a lot easier to mount elements on than round tubing. Yeah. I've got a lot of round tubing. I could probably come up with the boom, but I thought I'd just try a square tubing one.
Well, the other thing is I drop in a lot of the scrap yards here and there looking for pieces of aluminum. I mean,
yeah, if you come across, I'd be glad to pay you for it and pay you for your
that's the cheap way to do it. I mean, I found great finds at some of the
Yeah.
salvage yards, but
Yeah, I wish we had something like that around here. I would be probably visiting that place pretty often.
yeah.
Does Arvine Pipe and Supply have any aluminum?
You know, I got sent down to a place, gosh, like on Bryant, but north of 235 one time that told me they had all this aluminum. And I got there and the guy looked at me like I was crazy. He goes, I don't know who told you we had that, but I've looked all over Oklahoma City for any place like the yard up in Wichita that had, 20-foot sticks of all this different aluminum. And
Yeah.
the yard's amazing. I mean, you name it, square two, brown, they've got it. And it's by the pound. So you buy what you need and pay by the pound. But the best way to, mostly I do a lot of machine work with small pieces of aluminum. You can get them for half price if you can get them at the scrap yard.
A 20-foot stick would be pretty difficult for you to transport,
Well,
if you couldn't, if you can't do that, why smaller pieces, I could splice them together.
Well, that's kind of why I was asking,
Yeah.
because
Gotcha.
I mean, 20-footer is going to be, I don't know, if I put it off the roof rack, I could probably on my truck.
I carried a 25-foot piece of 3-inch diameter irrigation tubing from north of El Reno on top of my pickup. And that sucker was huge, man. It was sticking out in the front and the back. And I had red flags on them. And coming home, I come right across Oklahoma City during rush hour time. I thought, sure as heck, there's going to be a cop pull me over,
Well, you had it flagged,
Yeah.
I think more likely somebody texting is going to run it right through their windshield.
It was up high, I've got a headache rack on the pickup, so it was up top of the cab of the pickup, and the one end of the pipe was tied to the front bumper and one to the back bumper, and then tied at the headache rack. But it was still sticking out a long ways from my pickup.
Yeah.
That's what I made a boom out of a 5-element 10-meter beam that you can see a picture of on qrz.com down toward the bottom. Picture of it, and also the 40-meter rotatable dipole, full size rotatable dipole, 66 feet long dipole with a gamma match on it. It was a bear to put up too.
So let me just for giggles, how would you splice that if I had to cut it in half? Would you weld it or would you?
I would just take some quarter inch aluminum, about 1 inch or so, and bolt it on each side of it. Bolt it on two sides of it.
Okay. So kind of do a splint on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe 6 or 8 inch long and bolt it. And
I've got a welder that'll do aluminum, but I've never done it, so I have no idea.
Yeah.
I've got a
bolting it together would be fine, and hopefully a element wouldn't come out right where the splice is at.
Yeah.
Or you put it into
There's that brazing
and then a brake
rod that you can get at Harbor Freight for aluminum.
Yeah.
That does seem to do a pretty good job. That might be something along with a splint.
Yeah. Yeah. If you had a piece that would slip inside of it would be nice. But,
yeah.
It's not like telescoping round tubing that you can telescope together for booms and verticals.
So how many elements are you putting on that 443 megahertz 20-foot beam? Is that what we're talking about?
I can't remember now. I think it was 22 elements.
Wow. Sam, that's what we need.
Okay. I had
go from
16 elements on a 22-foot boom. What I did.
Ken, I was thinking you really don't live that far from me. We should just stretch a wire.
Probably get away with that. Yeah.
It's only 10 miles or so. Be easier. We've been trying to figure out a way to do Morse over the radio and practice over the air. And
well, you could do it on if you get up on 430 32 megahertz, there's not anybody going to see you. You could point antenna at each other and you'd have your own communication set up there.
Well, we were playing on 10 meters last night and trying to see if we could hear each other, and we never could.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Surprised. You guys are not that far apart, but.
No, I know. I was not pointed really directly at you, Sam. I was pointed more to the little bit to the southwest, but we could set that up next week, maybe.
I can't point. I'm
yeah.
I'm on that infed, but
okay. This antenna with a 16-foot boom had 22 elements and 15.7 dB gain. And I figured one out with a longer boom, but I don't remember how many elements it had on it. But, 16-foot boom, you get 15 dB gain. That's pretty good gain.
I've got some 7-foot rectangular 1x2 aluminum pieces. I could build one with that. I might have to try that.
I'll tell you what I'd like to try. I've got on my truck, I've got ham sticks, but I don't have a 10. I've got a 20 and a 40.
Yeah.
I'd like to get a 10-meter ham stick and see how that would work. But I don't know what I can do by next week. We'll see.
Well, Sam, is your NFED pointed north and south?
Pretty much, yeah.
You should pretty much aim right at me then, for all practical purposes.
Yeah. Yeah, and I couldn't hear anybody last night on down there.
Well, I got the Edmund net. That was working.
How about?
Did you see? I couldn't hear them.
You guys should be able to do it on 6 meters, Sam. What you think?
Yeah, my antenna theoretically doesn't go to 6 meters. My tuner might get me there.
You just might have to drop down a little lower.
But
question that was brought up earlier, Phil, what do you use for 6 meter, vertical or a horizontal antenna?
I don't think he heard you, Mark.
You're muted, Phil.
I think he's detuning.
His lips aren't moving either.
I was going to say.
There we go. It took me a while to get it unmuted. For 6 meters, I have a horizontal, I guess you would probably call it a rotatable dipole. Officially, it's a 2-element beam antenna with 6 and 10.
So it's horizontally polarized, Mark.
Horizontally polarized. Yep.
You want to try it now, Mark? Can you transmit on 6? See if Phil can hear you.
Yeah, I can do that. I can go over to it and no, I can't either. I'm not on the outside antenna. I unhooked it when storms were coming in.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I was
Yeah,
gonna say
I
if
got
you
mine unhooked too. And
I didn't. I did a Mark Klein.
mine's still plugged in right in front of me.
In all fairness, I do have a vertical antenna. I've got a Hustler 5 BTV, and I use the 10-meter element on 6, and it works pretty well. It loads up good and works pretty well for a vertical antenna. But most of the guys on Monday night are horizontal guys, so I generally talk off the horizontal.
Oh, okay.
Well, see, I checked in Monday night, Phil, and I could hear the one that was doing the net, but when he called your call, I could not hear your response.
Wow.
I could hear him just fine, but could not hear you at all.
I had a pretty good copy on most of the other stations. Is your antenna horizontal?
Yes.
I should be able to hear you. The only one I have trouble with is Galen. He's vertical, and Jim is horizontal. But the polarization discrimination is really strong on 6 meter. So I have to be on horizontal to hear Jim at all. Everybody else, I can hear him a little bit on vertical and better on horizontal. I'm looking out in the backyard. It's still up in the air.
How do you have your horizontal mounted?
On a 10-foot piece of PVC pipe. So the whole thing's only 10 foot in the air.
From point A to point B, you're
Yes.
on. Okay.
So, Mark Clayton, you could build something like that and have a fixed rotatable dipole that you could rotate by hand and put it broadside to whatever station you wanted to work.
I have an Armstrong rotator on it, and I keep it pointed southeast.
Yeah, and that would be an easy thing to build, just aluminum tubing and a 6-meter dipole.
Mine is a Conrad creation. He first built it using a piece of 300 ohm TD twin lead between the front element and the back element. And we've now changed that out to a piece of coax.
I remember that.
The front element is cut for 6, back's cut for 10. The 10-meter element acts as a reflector for the 6, and the 6-meter element acts like a director for the 10.
You have a picture of that, Phil?
Somewhere, but not handy.
Okay. You ever come across that? Send me email me or send me a copy of that picture. I'd like to see what your antenna looks like.
So, Phil, is the elements made out of aluminum?
Yes.
And so what kind of match is it?
Aluminum pipe mashed.
No, I mean, the match. Is it a
the
gamma
ma-
match or a dipole match or a?
It's a Conrad match with no balun and no ferrite coils.
So
We coiled up about 10 foot of coax at the base of the pole, just for a coil balun. It matches good enough that, well, it's under, SWR is under 2, and I can tune that with either with my 6-meter antenna tuner or with a built-in tuner in my transceiver. I'd take a picture of it, but it's such a dark and gloomy night, it probably wouldn't show up.
Well, like say one of the days you come across a decent picture somewhere, which you got of it, I'd like to see what it looks like.
Mine
Mark,
is.
There's a picture of Phil's on my video right there.
Okay.
Mine's tied with 3 pieces of rope. If you looked at it, you'd say, "Oh my God, how does he even operate with that?" But it works pretty good.
Looks like I'm going to have to get me a get me another 6-meter dipole antenna and put it up somehow and hook me up an antenna switch so I can switch between my current HF antenna and my and that dipole when I want to go to 6.
Yep.
My horizontal boom is aluminum pipe about 10 foot long. So that puts the spacing between the 10 and the 6-meter element at 10 foot.
It sounds like about a half wave on 6, right?
Yeah.
About that, yeah.
3 meters.
Yep.
Yep.
Half wave's about 9.7 inches or feet, something like that.
Well, and I think last time Conrad was here, we scooted the 6-meter element in just a skosh, so it's probably spaced about 9 foot.
I think I've got an idea since that's only 9 foot long on that you were talking about, Ken, on the half wave dipole for 6.
Yeah.
I think I might be able to mount that on the roof and get that center point up just, where I can do a little bit of a V
Mm-hmm.
And I can run that other two lines out towards the roof line to the front and the back. And that way it's still facing east-west, because that's the only way I could do it.
Make a inverted V for.
It may get an
6
inverted
meters.
V on the roof, and it would be that high off the roof, but
Yeah,
it would, the ends would go down to the edge of the roof on both ends.
I think that would work.
And then run me a cable down off the roof, and then just get me an antenna switch that I can switch between my regular HF it's up there
Yeah,
and the and that 6 meter dipole.
yeah, I think that would really help you out. And there, like Sam said, 6 meter activity is going to pick up here this summer.
Yeah, and I really wanted to pick up those stations out there so I can.
Whenever 6 meters opens for DX, you need to jump on it, because it doesn't open up for good DX very often. You get a lot of openings on 6 where you work United States, but work in Japan or South America, places like that, it doesn't happen very often. I worked Belgium on 6 meter CW, and I could not believe this call sign. I kept listening to that guy over and over. I couldn't believe that this was a European call coming in that strong on 6 meters. But it happens, so you got to be ready for it.
Well, that's why I want to try a FT8 on it with that dipole and see how well it works. See if I pick up quite a few stations that I'm not picking up now.
Well, of course, the higher you get it, the better off you are. And away from obstacles, the better off you are. But you can only do so much,
Yeah, I don't have any trees around. I mean, I don't have it unless I put poles up, and they wouldn't last long here because there's nothing to slow the wind down here. You get 60, 80 mile an hour winds, and whatever you got up's gone.
That's the same wind I get over here, Mark.
But you got a lot of trees to help block some of that wind, don't you?
No, not too much. Not where the direction of the wind is coming from. I've got a 60-foot vertical back there, no trees around it.
Besides, putting it back up is part of the hobby.
Right.
Yeah. And
First time's just practice.
You're supposed to wait till winter time when it's 0 degrees to go out and do antenna work.
Oh, don't say that if Wayne's listening.
Yeah, I'm shaking my head. Yeah.
When your fingers stick to the aluminum tubing.
Don't lick the tubing.
Barely get the coax screw.
Doc. Sam, question. Printer. Your 3D printer. That was a Creality 10 V3?
Sam, you're muted.
You're muted.
Now try.
You're not muted.
Okay. I'm back. Go ahead.
No, that was a Creality 10 V3 that you got, wasn't it?
I've got an Ender 3 Plus.
Ender 3. Okay. Ender 3
and there's
Plus.
like 3 different models, and the Plus is worth the extra money. You get a faster processor, and you get a glass plate print. I mean, it's $20 more than the other one, but you get a lot of, and 40. I think it's worth the extra $60 from the bottom to the top.
They had it on Amazon at like $270-ish, 80-ish, something like. I don't know, but it was a plus, so that's what I wanted to know.
It was like 210, 240, and 260 when I bought mine, and it was I did a lot of reading, and I think it was definitely worth the.
Hey, Sam, can you etch a circuit board with it?
I've never tried.
Well, that would be nice.
No, you need the CNCs for that. They work out well for those. Ken Goodson does those.
That's more money, Mark.
Not really. Ken Goodson built one for like $40 plus the motors.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Somebody's using 3D printer though to do circuit board work. No, at least I've seen it. I noticed the YouTube. I never watched it.
with conductive goo or what?
Don't make me lie.
Because I've looked at the math on the conductive goo and it's not very conductive.
Maybe they're doing some kind of a template that they're using another means of finishing it out. But
yeah, it could be.
You know, for doing onesie, twosie boards, it would be nice to be able to do it yourself.
Man, you can get onesie, twosie boards done in China online so darn quick and easy. It's crazy.
That's where I get my circuit boards for my 630 amplifier.
Yeah.
Built, and it's pretty cheap and pretty fast.
Yep.
Hey, Ken HFE, I got a question for you.
42 is the answer.
Right. I believe it. Loop antenna. I can hook to the outside HF antenna and pick up all across the U.S., Europe, South America beautifully. Like today, it was just covered up. I unhooked the outside one, hook up the loop inside, which I was doing before, and it was working great. Not picking up hardly anything all of a sudden.
Okay.
Very little. And the only thing I can finally think of, I played with it now for a week. The only thing I can think of is I might have something wrong all of a sudden with the cable running from the antenna to the radio.
Well, also the little capacitor that we just had stripped wire laying on the aluminum foil taped down to it. You might want to duplicate that, take the tape off and get your fresh foil and clean those contacts and tape it back down again for now. Or you might want to put
a variable capacitor on.
Yes, it's just two pieces of foil laid on over each other.
Ken, how much capacitance do you think it is, Ken?
It's in the it's got to be in the 200, 300
microfarad
range. I mean, I didn't measure it because I didn't have a meter that was working decently when I did that, but I've got one that's 220, like 40 to 220 or 260, and it's not quite enough. So it's probably a little more than that.
Yeah. Mark, if you get a variable capacitor, Mark, even if it's a small one, you can always parallel a fixed capacitor across it till you get the resonant frequency.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It's not all of a sudden, it's not hearing anything.
Well, Ken's probably right. That tap's probably not working right. So the antenna's not tuned properly.
Speaking of 3D printer, I just, I don't know if I can get this new handle for my mailbox. Just finished.
All right. Looking good.
I love my 3D
printer. How long did it take you to do that, Sam?
This one took, about the time we've been on air. So let's see, 2 hours.
Pretty quick.
2 hours to print.
That's actually pretty quick.
Okay, Sam and Mark and who else are the gurus on 3D printing here?
I wouldn't call myself a guru, but I'm getting there. So go ahead.
Mine arrived on Friday.
Oh my gosh.
It's a 3-in-1 unit. It also does laser engraving and CNC routing.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So I've done laser engraving. The software for it sucks. The machine itself is exquisite.
What'd you get?
It's called a Snapmaker 2.0.
Never heard of it. Cheapers, criminy. Snapmaker 2.0.
It has removable
I've got to
heads,
have one.
depending on what you want to do. And like I said, I've done a laser engraving and haven't gone beyond that yet.
That would be
what was
so
wrong
cool.
with your software? Just the drawing of stuff, or?
Now the general consensus among the forums is that particular software that goes with it sucks. And so far I tend to agree. First of all, there's no user manual for it at all.
None of them have manuals. That's a given anymore.
Well, it really surprised me because, like I said, the machine itself, the machining on it is just fabulous.
Looks gorgeous. Yeah. So you snap in, or the laser, all those heads are in there at once, or you snap one in and one out?
Nope, it's 4 screws, and you disconnect the cable and take the screws out of the one and screw the other one in, and then you also need to change the bed. The 3D printer's got a heated bed, and the other two have different beds for it. So.
Oh, that's crazy.
And I've got the enclosure for it. And they've got a rotary deal that's either coming or it was just out. I did not order it yet, but I'm going to, because that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted, is mess it with my pens.
Oh, you mean like a lathe kind of action?
Yes, and supposedly you can. It kind of looks like a lathe where you clamp it in the jaws and then it'll turn based on your stuff. But supposedly you can 3D print on something that's round.
Is that this $1,800 thing I'm looking at here?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
It's gorgeous stuff. I mean, I agree. It looks like it's on the screen now. That's the laser thing buzzing right there now. How many watt laser is that? Do you know?
I believe it's 1600.
Whoa. Can you burn through paper? I guess you could.
Oh yeah.
Oh, if it'll do that to that wood, yeah, it'll set your house on fire.
Oh,
my
God.
I don't know. Let's see. Let me change my camera around here.
Because the big thing is there's tons of software that generates those G-code things, and you can, you make yourself crazy coming up with the different pieces to front end of it.
I use, is it Cura?
Cura is one of the good ones. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I use. It's free. I like free. Can you tell I like free, guys? I don't pay for anything.
I've paid for some, and I like the free ones better.
So
I had to get one for a project for work that we had to do that matched somebody's something, and I don't know, it was like $100. It wasn't a big deal, but I did it because I had to for that project, and then never used it again.
Mr. Section manager, we had 49 on the Aries net this evening.
The number was, it was like everybody was there. I couldn't figure out what was going on. The weather, maybe everybody coming in for the weather.
Yeah, I'm sure that was some of it, but let's say I had 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I had like 13 or 14 that showed up after roll call. Now, a couple of those were people that I'd either called and they didn't answer the first time, or I'd moved on past them because I hadn't been on the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I heard K5 ESN over there, and he was on the Zoom thing, and he just got a reality from us a week and a half ago, something like that.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, Don Byrer, are you still on?
No, I think he left.
No, he's there. He's just napping.
Yeah.
I think he just about had a record tonight.
49. You think that's a record?
I think that's a record.
Wow. Oh, did somebody talk to me? I was out of the room.
Yes, I did, Don. You probably already know this, but I had lunch with one of your buddies a couple of days ago.
Yeah, Sean told me.
Yeah, and we'll be presenting together virtually, unfortunately, along with a couple of other guys here at the EM conference.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I stepped out of the room to hit the little room.
No problem.
Oh, that's the Sean I met up at the sushi place.
Yes. Yeah, Sean Douglas. He's nice.
He's working
man
at
of many
Homeland.
talents. I'll just say that.
Yes, he works at Homeland Security. Well, combined EM Homeland Security, but he's our frequency coordinator now for the state and the deputy SWIC, the statewide interoperability coordinator.
And I started off meeting that guy in Skywarn in Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Try to put his current title on a business card.
Yeah, he seemed like a really nice guy. I don't know what he was hanging around with you for, Don, but that's.
I have absolutely no idea. But then again, you used to hang around with me too. So
Well, that's true. And you moved away from me. That showed you got smart. Speaking of smart, both of you guys, Phil and Don, I helped the Ketchikan Airport get one of their FCC licenses renewed, 153 megahertz today. So you're welcome. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Okay. Was that like a local comm frequency for them, or?
Yeah, I think it was a local. I don't know what it was, but a gal at our office, a girlfriend of hers, works at the Ketchikan Airport, and she came into my office. She said, "Hey, what do you know about an FRN?" And I said, "You mean for radio stuff?" Yeah. My girlfriend's in Alaska, and they've got to renew it, and they can't figure it out. So, so I put the FRN in, give a URL, and say, "Yeah, you got one that's going to expire here in May 13th, and here's all the rest of your licenses." And all I could hear from the other end was, "Thanks." And what do we have all these other licenses for?
Yeah, thanks for talking to airplanes.
Yeah. Well, I guess it was. I didn't.
No, the FCC, yeah, the FAA kind of takes care of their own there.
I would think they would. This is the airport, Ketchikan International Airport, by the way, in case you're wondering. If
International.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah, they're almost in Russia. You know,
something you need to remember at an international airport basically means that they have custom services.
Oh.
So that somebody arriving from another country, I mean, Toledo is an international airport.
We've got a world airport.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I thought of you two guys when I was talking to this gal. I thought, oh, that's pretty funny. But it's 153 something. I don't know what they were doing with it.
And the airport owns this, or is that part of the airport trust or something?
Yeah, it's kind of the borough, and I guess that means county up there.
Yeah, that's owned by the airport, not the FAA.
Yeah, okay.
That's why it's on an FCC frequency instead of an FAA frequency.
I'll say if it's a 153, it's probably like their maintenance crews or something like that.
Right.
That would make sense. They had like 60 licenses, licensed for 60 units. So I didn't think there were 60 people in Ketchikan, but I guess there are.
Well, it's pretty common for those things to be licensed for 50 or 60.
Ah, okay.
Hey, Galen?
It doesn't cost you anymore. So
right, exactly. You just file for it.
Hey, Galen?
Yes, sir.
Those two storms down around Walters down there are rotating, aren't they?
I don't know. Are they?
Yep.
Not honestly, not paying too much attention to them. So let's.
So they're moving northeast. That's why I was.
They look like they're dissipating.
Well, and I see outbounds, but not much inbound. So let me stop it here. Twink. Yeah, down around. Am I on the right one here? That's
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. There's two of them. One of them's back to back.
Oh, good. They'll combine.
You got two of them right there. One is at Walters, and the other one's at that.
It might have just a hint, but doesn't look like too much there.
A little bit of green and red together.
Let's see what it looks like off of a closer radar. It changes things a little bit.
Yeah, it's low.
A little bit of lower stuff there, but even then, that's not. That might be.
Well,
Probably bears watching.
We just received we now have a severe thunderstorm warning for Canadian, Grady, and Oklahoma County until 5:15 a.m.
I don't think so. Not a warning.
Watch.
Sorry, watch, not warning.
Watch.
Yeah, for Canadian, Grady, and Oklahoma County.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's still not going to amount too much, probably.
I hope not.
It looks like the further they move northeast, they're not as intense.
Well, we'll take the rain. Just don't want the hail and anything else.
Yeah.
Sam?
Yep.
If you come across some aluminum tubing, it can be 1.5 inches, 1 3/4, or 2-inch.
Okay.
square
I'll just
tubing.
keep my eyes open. I'm always looking for metal. 'Cause
Yeah,
I have a lathe and a milling machine, and I'm always doing stuff. So always looking for cheap metal, as if there is anything such thing anymore.
Aluminum's expensive and hard to come by. So,
Well, I'll tell you what, you ought to go up to the yard in Wichita sometime. I mean, they have anything you could ever want and thousands of pounds of it. It's amazing. I've never seen a place like it. But
lots of good antenna stuff, huh?
oh, you'd go nuts, and everything else. I mean, plate. I mean, whatever you want, they've got it. They had some stuff up there one day. It was this like honeycomb, like kind of like corrugated cardboard, and it had just incredible strength. But it was just featherweight of his stuff they use in aircraft stuff. But yeah, it's a cool place. So but I'll keep an eye out and let you know if I run
I
it.
appreciate it.
I'll go out and see what I've got out in the shop. I buy stuff, just if I find it, I just buy it. You never know. You never have too much metal. It's like too many radios. You can't have too many radios. So
that's what these guys were doing. Every time they'd go up there, they'd come back with pieces and hey, this was a good deal, and carry back way more than they left for.
Yeah.
One time I bought from the Choctaw Radio Amateur Club, they had a 20-meter mono bander. That sucker had like a 24-foot boom and 5 elements. I bought that for $75. You can't believe how many antennas I built out of that thing. I've still got pieces of it out there. I built a 9-element 6-meter Yagi on a 49-foot boom, and I didn't keep it up in the air very long because I couldn't put any other antenna up because my rotor wouldn't handle anything else, so I finally backed off on it. But then that was a killer 6-meter antenna.
Hey, Mark, who did you say that watch was for and until when?
Let me look again.
Canadian, Oklahoma, and Grady County until
5:15. Yeah.
I am not seeing any sign of that on the NWS chat nor on the SPC website.
That may be Kentucky and not Oklahoma.
no, because in Kentucky they wouldn't even know it. And I got to tell you, I grew up in Kentucky, and we were sitting down on Kentucky Lake one time having a little party, and it was cloudy and there was a little bit of rain, and all of a sudden somebody went, "Look at that!" And this tornado went right across the lake, probably 5 miles south of us, and cut right across the lake. We had a radio playing, for music, and it was 15 minutes later, the radio announcer got on there and said, "Hey, there's been a tornado sighted over near Kentucky Lake." And we're like, "Yeah, thanks." That was like 10 minutes ago.
You don't want to be camping out when a tornado comes. You don't have much shelter.
No. Yeah, but you don't have any warning either, so it doesn't really bother you. Just
I on NWS chat
I'll be right back.
From a fire person down. I think he's in western North Texas, but I don't know exactly where. It says an untrained spotter, a homeowner, reports anchored trampoline lifted over the house and disappeared toward tornado warned storm. That was northeast of Electra.
It was earlier today, right?
Doesn't no. the report was at 8:32 tonight, and that was about 15, 20 minutes prior. So it'd been 8:15,
Huh.
8:10 like that tonight.
Because Electra had stuff at like 5.
Yeah, they've had some other storm. Well, I think they've had some warm storms down here. Yeah. Wichita County down that way. So yeah, in fact, at 8:13, Spiager says they'd been watching a circulation around Electra.
Lucky them.
Better there than here.
Yep.
Don't
So-
wish it on anybody, but
So I told somebody today, I said, yeah, they had 3 tornadoes down there. A bush, a tree, and a shrub were affected.
Hey, I'm gonna have to get out of here, guys.
See you, man. Be good.
Take care, Ken.
Good talking to you.
Good to hear you.
I'll work on my 6 meter.
All right.
See you, Ken.
See you later.
Hi, Ken.
I'm gonna bail too, guys.
See you later, Galen. Be good.
Take care, Galen.
Night, Galen. Glad you had a good dinner with Sean.
Yeah, that was fun. And like I said, I'll visit with him again tomorrow.
Awesome.
Have fun.
Yippee!
Mark, did I tell you that I'd found 6 or 7 different repeaters for 220
Where at?
all over the state of Oklahoma? Basically, not any
That-
here.
That you could talk
There's
to?
one. There's one here. There's one here, and then most of them are in the east and northeast part of the state.
Yeah, Tulsa. I could believe that.
But there was actually one here.
That's on Sandridge. What's the call sign of that one? Do you know?
No, don't remember.
Is that 22492?
Don't remember. I just know that there's one here.
That's what's his name? Steve Hazelwood's. The Sandridge one is Steve Hazelwood's. Steve Hazelwood's. So I got to figure out how to build a feed horn for the UHF. Got to try to get Ken working on that for me.
There's a 224.44 for Norman that I see.
Oh, that's the old. That's what's his
I don't know.
name's?
I don't know if that's legit or not.
That's what's his name's.
The OKC one is the W5 GDL.
That's it. GDL.
Link,
That's it.
yeah.
Yep. That's who is that? Steve's. Is that Steve's call sign?
This one's listed under K9KK.
Yeah, he's. Well, I don't know if he's got that up. He's just out here at 30.
I don't think it's active.
He's at 48th. Between 36th and 48th by Highway 9, just a little bit east of 9, north of 9. Yeah, GDL is Steve's call sign.
Yeah, you're right. That 224.92 is Sandridge.
Okay, that's GDL. That's Steve's.
W5 GDL.
Yep. And it's supposed to be up and running.
And that's an all-star.
I don't know what it's got for controller.
That's what it says.
Could be. I don't have a clue. I don't have a clue.
Of course, I don't know when this was last updated, so.
Oh yeah, that's all crazy.
It says 3/21/2021, so.
Well, that's when they updated something on the list, not the entire list. But it's if it says All Star, it probably is.
When are you going to put Mark, when are you going to put a note on the 06 machine?
Well, I think the goal would be put it on the UHF side. It's the goal, and just haven't slowed down to do that. I got all the pieces sitting right next to me. Got a radio and everything, but that's a good project to look at.
Because I was on EchoLink yesterday, and I was looking down, and there's quite a few of them around the area here, but nothing here in the area other than Del City. Other than Del City,
is the only thing that's working that I know of.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I know of.
Mark, a year or two ago, the SCARS repeater was having trouble with somebody using APRS.
Huh?
Do you remember anything about that?
I mean, there was somebody just had their APRS set up on their radio as the repeater frequencies. There's a Yaesu, and if we can say Peter Core's name 3 times, he'll show up. There's a Yaesu that's falls over real easily and can switch frequencies that we probably suspect is what that story was. What's your question?
Oh, I just couldn't remember what it was that there was some interference every so often. It would key up or something, and I didn't remember what the issue was with it, but I've got APRS on my Avance HD1s, but it hasn't been turned on. But I didn't want to turn it on if I was going to cause interference somewhere.
No, you won't cause any interference. The only thing is if you switch over, you turn it on the 06 frequency, and just like everything else, you can transmit packet. That's not a bug, it's a feature. And the bad thing is that those radios are programmed so when it hears a signal, it fires out a response. So the more you key up, the more the thing cycles the transmitter. So that was driving people crazy, is they would key something up in ID, and then here comes the packet, and they would key it again, and here it comes again. And it sounded malicious, but it's not. I know, and the reason I know that is we ran into that problem at the Bike MS in Tulsa in 19. Somebody had a radio, and it literally fell over and hit a button, and it put it on the main frequency. Excuse me. And put it on the main frequency. So all we heard was this APRS coming over the repeater, and it confused everybody.
I also noted the other day about the 06 machine. It's an old, I know it's been posted forever, but it said that the 06 machine once had or still had a phone patch hooked up to it.
We did it one time.
Yeah. That wasn't ever taken down off of that particular.
Oh, did you find one on a page somewhere?
Yeah.
Is the phone patch still live?
No.
I didn't figure. I figured
we had one up for control on an internet phone, IP phone, and it I put an ATA over there, and lightning took it out. So I never put one back over there.
Yeah, I always figured. I always figured the original line we had over there was probably a freebie from the county. So
nope.
Oh no, we paid for that.
Yeah, we paid for that.
Hey, Mark, I was curious, what's up with the 8.8 machine?
Talked to Michael today, and we got the controller down. I don't know where you left the story, but we went up and pulled the controller out. The audio's in the receive somewhere in the controller after the input and before the mixer. And
I remember that last time we
talked.
on
Okay.
the roof.
Oh yeah, you were up there. Michael had a big case that he filled out all his paperwork for yesterday, and we talked tonight, and he said that he was going to go look at it again, but he's thinking it's a -5 power supply is what he's thinking.
Okay,
So
I was just curious.
that's the remote diagnosis from sitting on the couch.
Fair enough. I was just curious because that thing's so easy for me to hit here at the house.
Oh, I know it. But he said we were talking about something else, and he said, "Yeah, I forgot. I got to fix that 8.8 machine." So,
okay,
it's like, as you know, you carried it down, so it's not there anymore. But still sitting in Michael's office where we left it that night. He had to bring his audio generator in. He brought that over. Now it's just a matter of hooking it all up.
Doing some troubleshooting.
Yeah. Yeah. You probably put a voltmeter.
Just curious where that ended up. I hadn't heard anything. So
yeah, no, I haven't, nothing to report. Michael had a big case of something paperwork he had to fill out for yesterday. Last night was his deadline. So he's breathing again.
Gotcha.
You've never had deadlines. You don't know what that's like, right?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Behind of them all.
We're IT guys. What deadline?
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
I don't have it done. What other problem do you know?
Yeah, trust me, it'll happen when it happens.
Yeah,
I can't just work magic.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes, but not normally.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I don't see why you're not able to edit that, Wayne, and that's what's bugging me right now.
I don't know, but it makes sense that I would be able to edit the page because I've edited pages before, and I might keep that function. So I don't know.
Yep. Well, that's when we're doing the picture stuff, but it's got your username is KK5IO, and it should allow you to do that. Try the list. No, maybe you're on the wrong page. Let's try that. That could be. Hold on. The reason Peter Core didn't show up when we talked about him 3 times is he was talking on the.
Well, that's the 3rd time now you've mentioned him.
Yeah, that's right. He was talking on the Gossip Net.
There you go.
You mentioned his name 3 times. He appears.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Hey, boom! There he is.
Damn. That was it, Wayne. It was the 4th, actually.
Oh, didn't actually say Peter. I said his name. But
Yeah, there you go. There you go. You didn't say Peter K.
What were we bad mouthing Peter about? I can't remember now.
Oh, about the radio, about the Yazoo when it falls.
Oh yeah. Which Yazoo talkie is it that's on the APRS that if you bump a frequency, it can put it on the main transmit frequency? There you go.
The FTM 400 mobile.
See, I knew he'd know it.
Of course he does.
Yes, of course.
Because I have, that's on the B band, and the B band has its own VFO knob versus the A band. So if you program something in there and you bump it, that's what happens on mine.
Well, the same thing happened in Tulsa. Is the reason I brought this up is that Carl was afraid that it would happen to his radio, and I said, no, it's his Alliance, and I remembered it was some talkie, and couldn't remember what it was.
Yeah. All the talkies is if you bump the if you go to the B band and you change it and you had APRS on, it'll continue to blast away.
Yep, that mode should stay with the B band and not jump to the other one.
Yeah. The problem with the FTM 400 is that the B band has its own VFO knob. So
does it just automatically start sending packets?
Yep.
Or it'll just start it'll just start beaconing.
Okay.
When it hears
whatever you set it up to be.
When it hears a hit signal, it sends something else out.
It just doesn't reply. Yeah.
Somebody's out there and they want to hear from me.
And
it's not smart.
Why is it that my HD ones won't do that?
The HD one?
Yeah. Why is it that that they won't cause that interference?
Because you have to set up APRS. When you go to the HDL, this is for APRS.
Right.
The HD one or the DMR radios, you have to set it up specific for that for the channel that you set up that you want this channel to be APRS.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the way the Yaesu does it is that if you turn on APRS on the B band, and it'll just ping away whatever memory or whatever frequency you're on.
So what repeater should I use to set up these on APRS?
14439, nothing, just the frequency.
It's all simplex, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys like
14439
Bob here?
Yeah. Well, Bob Raven showed up. Who'd let Bob Raven in?
Any tone to go?
Bob's been in for a minute.
Oh, good for him. No tone.
Hi, Bob.
Hey, everyone.
Hi there. I'm going to I just saw you and I'm going to go find it. I found me a cheap Goes 16 system on Amazon. And I won't be able to find it back now, but it was like $140 for the receiver, the antenna, and everything.
And what was this for, Mark?
Goes 16.
Do you have a picture of it?
I will. I'll find it. I've got to find it because I was going to say, oh, Bob will tell me what's wrong with this.
Us IT people always take pictures of everything.
That's right. It should be in one of my lists is what I'm thinking, but let's see.
Hey, back to Carl real quick. Carl, if it's on your HD one, you'll have to do the APRS via DMR.
Okay.
Yeah. And then if you just Google up HD1 APRS, there's a couple of walkthroughs, but I don't think, I'm not certain, but I don't think the HD1 does analog APRS.
You're probably right. That probably makes sense.
I think that's right, Peter.
And what it does there is it sends it out digital to the Norman repeater, and then the servers will send it to the APRS stuff.
Yeah, and then you need to go to your self-care page and set that up as well and enable it.
And I remember those old school APRS converters back in the day.
Yep.
The big boxes.
Yeah. The ones you'd hook up to your old school Radio Shack 2-meter radio.
Yeah, the AX25.
Yeah.
Here's an APRS. Whoops, where'd it go? There it is. There's an APRS transmitter right now. There's my finger for size. Oops.
Yeah, see, I know enough people tracking me. I don't need anybody else.
Mark, didn't you say you ordered a couple of those?
I have one, and we bought a bunch for the balloon guys. The balloon guys got up 5, I think.
Do we have any report on the balloons?
One more is supposed to go up. They're going to do a presentation for us next week from Saturday for for our SCARS bit, but one more is supposed to go up sometime this week or next, weather permitting.
Okay.
They've got all they've done everything for their class. They had one left over, and they're going to fire it off as soon as they can.
Are those Mylar balloons that they use?
Yes, those are Mylar balloons. Now, some of them they used are some plastic, and I don't remember what the clear plastic, but the last ones have been Mylar party balloons, those kind of things.
How do they keep them from expanding too much and busting with altitude?
Not overfilling them. They have only,
and they're also Mylar.
Well, yeah, but they're super pressure is what they call them. They go up and they look empty when they go up. They just have like 6 grams of lift is all they have. Or free lift, I guess is the right way to say that.
So obviously they're not using one party balloon to take this up.
No, actually, this last one's going to be 2 Mylar party balloons is what it's going to be.
Only 2. Okay.
18 inches is what the last 2 are going to be.
So I'm guessing I can hang my calendar back up here without offending anybody.
I don't remember which calendar is. Is it OSU poster?
It's Sarah Underwood.
Oh yeah, probably not.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, probably not. Dang it.
It works on cars.
Yeah, if you're asking, I'm going to say no.
That's why I took it down, because I was worried we were going to have a female presence in here and they wouldn't like that poster.
Well, and it's recorded and no, that's not good. That's not good.
Hey, Mark.
Yes, sir. Yes, Bob, go ahead. Oh,
is it true? Is it true with the balloon launches so far? They have not tested the Whisper. They're just using APRS on VHF.
They're doing both Whisper and APRS.
Yes.
Yes.
So they have used Whisper.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep. We had Whisper way out in the first, or we had 2 of them go out the country. One went out like New York area, and then went up the coast into Canada, into Nova Scotia, and then the second one went up through Lake Erie and went into a storm.
One that went through Tecumseh. They got shot down by Billy.
Yeah, one didn't make it to Tecumseh.
Well, the question I have is well, it's not a call sign. There's limited slots that you can use for balloons. So basically in the Whisper message, you don't put your call sign in.
Well, there's slash variables, right?
Well, you put the Whisper call sign in, and the Whisper doesn't send as much information as APRS does. So they were sending, I think, 2 packets in 10 minutes. They would send 2 packets in APRS and 2 in Whisper.
Okay, so
don't you have a hyphenated or a slash call sign though on that?
For
balloon?
APRS, that's the SSID.
Hey Bob, Eric here. Nice to meet you.
Hey Eric, I think I've seen you before, but I'm not sure.
Quite possibly. I've got the sideshow Bob hair going on.
I sure do.
You guys have hair. Just shut up is all I'm saying.
That's what my dad used to say when people would make fun. My wife would make fun of my hair being
the receding hairline. Which it's not receding. It's just there.
Right.
Running like the wind.
But when they launched the balloons that are designed hoping to go around the world, they don't put their call sign in there.
Yeah.
They have either a 0, 1, and then the other characters are used to contain data. It changes all the time.
Well, there's
a limited.
That's if you're using the controller that has 2 packets. The light APRS, our controllers don't do that, but the YO3 ICT controllers will send out 2 packets. They'll first send out a normal Whisper packet, and then they'll send a second one that starts with Q7, and because there's no call sign with Q7, And then the
Right,
rest of the
right.
call signs used for number of satellites received, and then the extra 2 digits of grid square.
Right.
Mark, does that not have to change based on geolocation at all?
No, what changes on geolocation is there are 3 spots you cannot transmit over.
Okay.
So if you go over England, it shuts off UK, it shuts off the transmitter. If you go
Gotcha.
over South Korea, it shuts off the transmitter.
And is that all based on GPS?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And that's in the code. You can see it actually in the code where it's looking for the little
I haven't
squares.
looked at any of the codes, so
Yeah. No, but it's there. You can actually see it.
if you got the code, send it to me.
Okay. It's on the GitHub thing.
Yeah, send me the GitHub link for sure.
It's just a little, what do they call them? Sketch.
It's like a Visio.
No, it's Arduino sketch.
Okay.
Bob's got one of those. You got it on your kite yet, man?
That's on my to-do list this spring, but once I'm done with this week, I'll have more time to.
Looks like
I didn't
Bob needs
finish
some.
my.
Looks like Bob needs some cable management done there in the background.
No, that's
Yeah, right.
decoration. That's decoration.
Actually, I've got wire here. I guess this wire here, it's not the one on the wall. I've got a solar powered light that I'm using that's, well, it's connected to a Jackery battery pack right now, but the battery pack is charged with solar panels. So
It's jankedly connected.
yeah, it's kind of a makeshift looking. My whole room is makeshift.
Hey man, isn't that how shacks normally are?
Yeah.
Yeah, my whole house is a shack.
Yeah, Eric, that link is in the chat.
Okay, cool. Thanks, man.
And that's the APRS thing that's there. It's kind of cool. Bob's got an idea, and I think it's crazy, which means it'll work just wonderful, that he wants to put one of these transmitters like I showed up earlier. These little guys. Where'd he go? There he is. Put one of those on a high altitude kite and then fly it in the air.
A big box.
I've got a big box kite.
Oh, how big is yours?
I want to say it's like.
That's a personal question.
It's probably 10 foot.
Really?
Tall?
Yeah.
Really?
What's it made out of? What's the material?
It's all nylon fiber.
Is it plastic ribs?
It's all well, there's some pieces of it that are titanium, and there's the majority of it is plastic.
Whoa. Bob, you've met your match. It's on.
Surpassed on that one.
I mean, the titanium works great for like the lower segments, that work into like the heart of it, and then going from there, it just goes out to either PVC or some kind of other plastic that's lightweight.
Wow. So can you buy those, or did you build
No,
yours?
I built it.
Okay.
First liar doesn't have a chance tonight. Gee, many Christmas.
Yeah, it's fun to fly. It'll move you across the ground.
We need to put one of these on that device.
Yeah, there you go.
Absolutely. I mean, we can get that thing 600 feet in the air.
Whoa.
It like I said, it'll move you across the ground, but
I would
fun to
imagine.
fly.
10-foot box kite. Jeez.
That's almost, if I recall, prior to World War One, they were actually lifting people up on box kites to do reconnaissance.
I got a carabiner, Peter. We'll hook it to your belt.
Hey, Bob, if you go Google up Into the Wind, it's a kite company that I've gotten from. They've been around forever. They've got, if you just want, well, now let's use Eric's one first.
Yeah. I just use a gree to let out the line.
What?
I'm sure you guys are familiar with gree-grees.
Yeah.
Made by
Yeah.
Petzl. G-R-I gree.
For rope climbing and stuff like that.
Yeah, for climbing, exactly.
Yeah.
There's a guy in Australia has a kite kind of newsletter thing, and
I think I'm familiar with
he
it.
has books of how to make kites and what have you. And I think they suggested for these really big box kites to use like a reel like you can get for hoses, with a crank on it that's fairly heavy, and then you can let it out, with that big reel on the ground.
I mean, I'd have to go pull this one out of the garage, but I think it's all titanium and aluminum. There may be some plastic pieces here and there, but it's pretty lightweight.
Man, Eric, that means you mean you got to strap on a harness and then clip on the gree and
Yeah.
that's how you.
Yeah, and then I can just jug right up to it.
And
there's so much that doesn't really need to be on here tonight.
I mean,
you're strapping on. You're comparing sizes. No.
Did he just say strap on?
Yeah, that's what he said. That's what Peter said.
Yep.
Oh my.
No, you can do so much with the gree. It's amazing. One of the best climbing devices ever invented. It's a hell of a lot better than an ATC. That's for damn sure. And ATC stands for air traffic controller, by the way. If you look up Black Diamond ATC, that's your air traffic controller. And if you look up Petzl gree, that's your self belaying device or self climbing device, depending on the way you rig your rope.
Okay, Bob, here's my kit. $179. I was going to build this off of that satellite dish and I quit. $179, lock, stock, and barrel.
Oh, wow. Comes with a lot of stuff there, yeah. Software-defined radio.
And the cable, coax. It's got a SDR and a filter, mount pieces,
LNA,
literally everything but the tripod and the computer.
Oh, what a deal.
$180.
What's the diameter of that antenna roughly? Is it like...
I got the idea it was like 24 by 18 is what I get the idea, but I can't remember now. It's 39 by 24 by 15.
Okay, so yeah, it's not that big. Yeah, that's probably for the NOAA port stuff.
Yep.
There's no way you could get the sort of base digital data with an antenna like that.
No,
but that's
I couldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't have access to the decode keys. Probably is my guess, right?
No, it's free to air. It's just you need the software. You need a pretty good computer to keep up with it to process it.
LNA, yeah, LNA features gain of 30 dB.
Wow, it's pretty good. But didn't you say you got also a surplus antenna from NOAA? Or am I confused?
This is the kit that I was wanting to find or build or do something, and it's out there.
Because I thought you had emailed me about a surplus antenna you got.
I've got, yeah, I did. And then the next day I found this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd stick with this.
Yeah, for this project, I think I'm going to go EME with the other deal.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. That's a pretty good deal, yeah.
I just can't see how you can go wrong with that. I'm going to say, oh, there you go. LRIT, high, or low rate, high rate, and HRPT.
Right.
That's what it says it picks up.
Guys, I gotta run.
See you, man.
All right, see you, Mark.
You guys have a good week and stay safe. And I'll catch you on the radio.
All right, you as well, man.
Night, sir.
All right. Night, sir.
Stay dry out there.
I'm not
Yeah,
sure,
you have
but
to let me know how that works out.
I will do that because that's exactly what Grizzle was looking for the fire station. And if I get this working, I'm sure the fire station will pay me 20, 30 grand for that. So that'd be a good deal.
Yeah. What a deal.
Hey guys, I kind of want to ask a novice question here.
Okay, put it in the chat and then we'll anonymize it. So
Just
they
to
don't
see
know
what
it's
you
you.
guys' take is on it. What do you guys take on a ground loop at the bottom of the base of your antenna? Like looping the coax.
Putting a coil in one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. For what purpose, first off? Let me just ask that.
Well, so first off, I have a dual band at the top of the mast, and then I'll be hanging a TV antenna below that, and then below that, I'll be hanging off my inverted V dipole.
So you're thinking common mode current, or are you thinking?
Well, I'm just curious, like what is everybody's take on actually making that AKA ground loop in the coax?
I never do it.
Okay.
I never do it. This is religion. I never do it. And from what I've seen, those loops, if you want to stop common mode current, you really need to use a ferrite to make it happen, to get any value out of it. And we've got a whole ferrite 900-page document that you can bore yourself with. But basically, the loops don't make much difference.
Yeah, I didn't really think so. I just thought it was something that was kind of trendy at the time, back in 1994.
Yeah, and you want to do that. If you do it, you want to do it at the top of the antenna. But the value you get out of that, if you clamp on ferrites, will way outdo a loop.
Okay, so just run it straight coaxial down from the connector down the mast.
Yep. The only secret is that lightning strikes tend not to make corners very well. So if you make a fairly hard, not anything that'll damage the coax, but a hard 90 degree at the base. Oh, there goes Ken. Look at him. See,
What is that, Ken, with a ferrite?
That's one of those clamp on ferrites.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, man, we got him trained. Holy cow.
Oh, man, he's got all the stuff.
Yeah, and those something like that. If you do the math, that what he just had in his hand, that one little thing, does more than a 6 or 8 loop that people put on stuff.
So it's pointless for me to make a loop.
I would think so. Make a tight corner so it lightning kind of makes it tough to make the corners is probably the only thing. But other than that,
it probably wouldn't hurt you any, but the gain is probably marginal.
I will go with those words.
I was just wondering about, like, I know way back in the day when I was first, getting into ham radio, it seemed like every time I'd make that loop, it would be high SWR. And I don't know if that was just because maybe the coaxial I was using was unshielded enough to cause that.
Or that you were poking through the coax, the center was poking through the dielectric.
Yeah. Okay. So don't worry about the loop in it.
No, because the stuff I've always seen, the heat around here wipes them out. That dielectric kind of gets wiped out. So
all right. Well, like I said, it was a novice question, but I got to ask.
No, and that's a good question. It's religion. There's people that will just stand by it. But if you look at the math, what he had for that clamp on is 30 or 40 times more than a set of loops. And
if Ken tells me that's the way to go, that's the way I'm going.
That's it. I'd listen to him. Yeah, those. And now, do you need it all the time? No, but typically it's called common mode current, where they come flying down. Some signal comes flying down your cable on both leads.
And I don't really see that happening where I'm at.
Yeah.
I have a lot of, it's very low RF in this area where I'm at, which is surprising. So,
well, nobody has TV antennas up anymore. Nobody has, cell phones is big radio nowadays.
Yeah, the closest thing I've found by just like analyzing the neighborhood with like like Wi-Fi analyzer or whatnot, just like rolling around the neighborhood and looking at the spectrum, is the only thing I see is Wi-Fi routers, and that's it.
Yep. They're just crazy hams. That's it.
And if I get 20 feet or above, I'm going to be above that area anyway. So.
Yep.
All right. That was my dumb question. Sorry, I interrupted. Go ahead.
We doubled somebody. Yeah.
I was just making a joke.
Oh.
I was going to say, I thought some of these Wi-Fi services had taken over the world.
5G, man, it's gonna rot your brain.
I'll take 3 when I can get it.
Yeah. We're all getting microwaved.
That's right.
I came across an interesting article online, which I posted in the chat there. It's actually someone's thesis from Sweden from about 5 years ago, a bachelor level thesis in computer science. And what this guy did was he built a very small, low-powered HF transmitter using something called a QRSS hat for Arduino, which were sold by QRP Labs several years ago. So I don't know if you're familiar with QRSS mode. It's basically a very slow, essentially like a CW mode, slightly different. And the idea was that he'd have this little transmitter with an amplifier and then connect it via Bluetooth to a phone for emergency use. You could send messages rather long distances on HF with it. Anyway, you can take a look at it. I posted the link. I thought it was kind of an intriguing idea.
Yeah, I'll definitely take a look at it.
So basically, they're doing a low level. What frick spectrum were they using that they could do this without a license?
I believe he had a license. I think he talks about need for a license, at least what it is, the way he did it. I could be wrong. Yeah, amateur radio for major disasters. I actually did not read it in detail. I just kind of skimmed it, but.
So this is one of your students that you passed off. I see how you do that. Yeah.
No.
That's what profs do.
But this is several years ago, so I don't know. I wondered if they had a hat for the Raspberry Pi, but I could not find one when I searched. They have a Whisper hat, which I have. But.
Oh yes.
What are you guys doing for RPi stuff? Are you doing 3 or what are you doing?
I have a 3 still.
Okay.
2s, 3s, 4s.
I've got a couple 2s, but no 3s.
Yeah, I have I don't know if anyone has there's a Whisper hat from Tapper you can get for like $30. Do you have one?
Go ahead, Carl.
Oh, he was waving probably at
yeah, he was.
Ken.
Oh.
Ken was waving. I was just waving.
Oh. Hey, Peter, what's your input?
No, I was going to tell Bob, that paper was from before FT8 days. So
right.
if you go look, there are a couple of people that have set up FT8 or JS8, specifically JS8 gateways.
Okay.
So, and they're using Raspberry Pis, JS8, and then they're doing emails and any kind of communication via all these gateways. I know a couple of people are playing around with that.
So, do you know what software they use with the
whatever JS8 is running? It's you just have a skimmer station that's listening for the header that says. Or it's even passing. You can even pass it through APRS. There's a whole bunch. It depends on all whoever sets up the skimmers. Let me go look this up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's on my camera the Raspberry Pi 3 with the Tapper. Whisper transmitter on it, and the reason I mentioned that because conversation before was what version of Raspberry Pi. Apparently this does not work. The software does not work with the 4. It works with the 3 or 2, I believe. Yeah, and it costs about $30, I think. It's just a little board that mounts on the Raspberry Pi, and then you run a little piece of code basically on the Raspberry Pi. You don't have to run the full-blown code, you know, that you run for all the modes, and you can change, you know, the parameters quite easily. It's just a single command in Linux to set up the transmission for it. So, the other nice thing about this is when you order it, they have a 30 and a 40 meter version. There's another one that's a 20 meter version. It's completely different, but I got the 30 meter version, but the guy from Tapper told me it will work with 40 meters as well. It just doesn't have ideal filtering, and indeed it did. It's just a command you put in which band you want to use.
Is there a package I need to download for Linux in order for this, or?
Yeah, from the Tapper site, they have the software. I couldn't get it working initially on mine, so I contacted them. Got that, I forget his name, sent it to me, and he actually gave me the code for it, and I recompiled it. Eventually got it to work, but it's a little bit of a trouble. But yeah, the code's
maybe I'll just take your code.
Here's the Whisper.
Yeah, right.
This is the Whisper hat, $32 from Tapper.
Oh, you have it up there?
Yeah, now it says 20, 30, and 40, 20, 30, and 40 meters fully assembled and tested is what it says.
Right.
All in one blast.
I think the 20 meter version is a different design, or at least someone else designed it, but
well, they're all, it says 20, 30, and 40. Are they different? Oh yeah, there are 3 different ones. I see.
Yeah, the 30 and 40, they're the same except the filter's different on them. So I was told you can actually use it for either one, and it seemed to work. May not be quite as efficient for 40, but so that's kind of nice. Yeah. So I said, do I have to order another one for 40? He said, no, you can use that one too. I don't know about 20. I haven't tried that.
Hey, Mark Klein.
Yo.
I sent you a couple of links up. PDF is a feeding your dish antenna at 70 centimeters using a loop at different points of my face. And then the last one that I posted in the chat, it's just a Google search for JS8 email gateway. If you look at JS8, it's like FT8 or Whisper, except you can do freeform an unlimited amount of text. So that way, and then there's people that are setting up stations that will listen to that, and then, but there's a bunch of, if you go check on there's some video links and a couple of other stuff, but somewhere around here is this low power, low signal level, what do you call it? Messaging services.
Right. Yeah. This hat for Whisper, I'm actually going to try to get it to work with JT8. I guess not JS8 calling. So it's a little bit different, but
yeah.
And my application is a little different. This is for little inexpensive weather stations that might be placed in remote areas that don't have cell phone coverage or even a repeater nearby. Obviously, as a repeater, you could use APRS. And so the idea was actually to use Whisper. My original idea was like balloons, to use Whisper to send messages that encode some of the weather data, just like the balloons do. They have altitude, and temperature and battery voltage, I believe.
Yeah.
Encoded the Whisper message.
I think the issue there is you'll have to kind of it'll you know, you have to be kosher with the Whisper community, otherwise they'll be
Right.
safe.
And that's why I'm thinking of using the JT. Is it JT9 actually? Like you
JS8
said.
is about the only one that has freeform text.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's
FT8 is fixed. Everything else is fixed. You know, the Whisper one, they what was they expanded to the 2-frame messaging for that data.
right.
The Q7, yeah, for the 2-frame, but from that's as far as I know.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my motivation for getting other software running on here, so I can use.
Go look up. Yeah, go look up. There is JS8 call for Raspberry.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, if you just type up JS8, you know, Raspberry, and there's GitHub for it.
That's a good idea. I'm doing it right now.
Yep, just JS8 Raspberry, and yeah, see. Installing JS8 call on Raspberry.
Yeah, there we go. Install JS8 call on Raspberry Pi. I still have to get it working with this little transmitter. I don't know how to, you know, if it would work straight away or not.
That should be pretty neat. Yeah, the idea of sending, you know, having these remote stations being able to do telemetry and everything.
Yeah, it would be a beacon basically, with different, you know, temperature, pressure, wind, precipitation in the message that would change all the time.
Yeah, I think that's you know the issue with FT8 and Whisper is that it's the format's so rigid.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much spelled out, you know, even for FT8 for your DX, you know, for the Fox and Hound, everything else they have, you know, they've got to go through so much. Well, it's not an RFP, but it's kind of, they just declare that this is how they're going to implement it.
Yeah, there's also the timing. I don't know, does JSA call, does it require strict timing when the messages are sent like those other modes? Yeah, you have to.
It's FT8, so I'm thinking you would need to have a good clock because you got to transmit on cycles.
Right. Yeah, because could be a problem with this particular unit because it doesn't have a GPS on it, and to get the timing.
Yeah, you know what? It does. You know, it does need accurate time to decode. But if you're just beaconing, then I guess it's somewhere for you to, as the receiving station. Yeah, easier said than done. Go whip up some code so that you can, you know, some equivalent to some kind of jitter correction.
Or just put in a GPS. Put a GPS in, and it'll get you timing correct.
Yeah.
Because I know that, like the Whisper beacons, if you get off on the Whisper stuff,
right?
Yeah, no one's going to decode.
Yeah,
right. It won't be decoded because it's off.
Right.
Not synchronized.
But you know, if you're just beaconing, it's up to the receiver to adjust. You know, the receiver can adjust the timing to decode it.
It has to know what the timing is, and if you have drift, it maybe continually changing.
That's why well, you're just looking for the, you know, for the header.
Those GPS chips will help you each time.
Yeah, that's very true. Well, thank you, guys. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm after. So we'll see.
There's so much stuff out there. It's just amazing that.
I know.
Amazing.
yeah, we're building these low-cost weather stations. What I'm doing is a hobby project, but there's an intern at OU that's doing it in parallel, and they were developed at NCAR in Boulder. The concept, they're called, well, the early version was called 3D Pause. So the idea is you print your own housing with a 3D printer, and it's got and the electronic parts aren't as expensive. But the problem that the intern has run across is it takes forever to print some of these parts. They're complex three-dimensional shapes, and the tolerance has to be pretty good too, like for the tipping bucket gauge.
Oh wow, I bet.
So he said, yeah, one part, like he took him 8 hours just to print this one little part. And he had to go to a resin, more expensive resin material than the regular mold they use, I guess. He's doing it at the university. I thought when I first thought about the parts, I can just go down to the Norman Library. They have 3D printers.
Yeah,
print this stuff for free, right? But it might take like months to get it printed.
See, what the right answer is, you have one at home and or at work, and you fire it up and you go do your day, and you come back and it's done, and you do the next page tomorrow and the next one.
Yeah.
And
how much do those things run?
The 3D printers?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you want to do something pretty finite, like say you want to build something to mount in a rack.
Ooh, that's a rack could be 19 inches. It should be
Yeah,
way
I know,
too big
but-
for any of these, but like little bitty boxes and stuff. They're
Yeah, I'm thinking like cloud keys for Ubiquiti stuff, you know, that you could actually mount in a rack.
yeah, those are going to be 19 inches, which is going to give you too big.
Yeah.
Hey Bob, how many of these weather stations are you looking to deploy eventually?
Oh, don't know yet. We're just starting with 2 or 1 actually to see how it works. There was an earlier version that came out a few years ago, and it was originally designed for countries like in Africa that didn't have much of a budget to buy expensive weather stations. So, but apparently it was really complicated to put together. And then these 2 guys last year started. And the original one was actually using Raspberry Pi, but these 2 guys came up with a much more uniform way of the cabling is all uniform and everything. And they actually use a little microprocessor, like a centimeter diameter, that is Arduino based, and they cost like $8 each. But the problem is that the only manufacturer is in China, so the university could not actually, they wouldn't allow them to purchase it from China with their budget. But I purchased a bunch of them from home, and enough for me. I just, the shipping was more than the cost of the little microprocessors. I just doubled my order.
Oh, okay.
After that.
Well, I'll think.
But if it's a successful thing, if it, you know, I thought it'd be good like school projects, because for schools to work on putting it together, and then you could have them at a lot of schools. That's kind of my original thought.
Yeah, no, I'm just
given
thinking
the complexity.
I'm just thinking of the channel bandwidth.
Go ahead.
If you're using, you know, something along the line of FT8, if you have hundreds of these or thousands of these, you end up.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, it'll start stepping on each other.
Yeah. Of course, you could use slightly. I suppose could you use slightly different? There's a band. They're kind of agreed upon bands for FT8. I know there is for Whisper and the other modes.
Well, on paper you can operate, and you know it's a digital. It's a data digital mode. Just operate wherever data digital is is allowed.
Loud, yeah.
Or if it's I wonder if it's not say if it's institutional, if there's any kind of ISM band on HF for that.
Yeah, that's a good question. I thought I haven't used that JS8 call. I tried it once, I guess, and from what I remember reading it, there were just some suggested frequencies so people could expect to find other users there. I don't know if they've taken hold or, there's several of them or not. But for something like this, you could just have a frequency that other people aren't using, or a few of them, I guess. But I wouldn't anticipate thousands of these things.
Okay, yeah, just wondering how.
Yeah, well, maybe start with be lucky to get 5 of them.
Okay, yeah, then that's fine.
Yeah, but I guess the question I have with these different software running on the Pi is, would they work straight away with this hat that I have? I think the hat is basically an amplifier and filters in there. Because I think I read that the Raspberry Pi itself is capable of transmitting, right? In these different modes.
They're probably bit banging it, right?
Very, very low power, and so I assume it's just an amplifier, but I'm not sure.
There's no transmitter. It would just have to
you
be
bit bang one of the pins, and then you have to low pass that.
Right. So maybe it's a matter of software, because the guy was, he gave me some encouragement, I guess, to write my own code or modify the code there to run some of the other JT8, was it? I think it was JT8 or 9. But anyway.
There's libraries for all that stuff, so I doubt it's any big deal.
Yeah, the timing was a little different between that and Whisper, if I remember correctly. There's a delay. I think Whisper transmission starts right on the even minute, something like that.
2 seconds after the even minute. Yeah.
Is it 3 seconds?
2 seconds after the minute, even minute.
Okay. And I thought JT8 or 9, it was a little different. It was like 2 seconds before the minute or something, and then of course the length of the transmission was slightly different too, and the tones were different, obviously. But so yeah, I guess and I actually did find some code for Arduinos for that mode. So I would assume that would be close enough to what Linux running on a Raspberry Pi, but some of the libraries probably be different. Anyway, good ideas. Thanks for sharing them.
That's what this is for.
Yeah. Let you know how anything happens with this. But I'm really impressed with this it's a 1/4 watt, if I'm not mistaken, this Tapper hat. And, I've got it running on a battery, and it just runs away, and you get, hundreds of reports from it pretty consistently.
Yep.
And 20 meters.
Well, 250 milliwatts is a ton. I mean, mine's 200 milliwatts, and it goes everywhere.
Which one do you have?
I've got the Whisper Lite.
Okay.
The one from Soda Beams.
I've seen that. So it's a standalone transmitter.
Yep. Let's see. That's it right there on the screen. Soda Beams.
Oh yeah.
And all you have to do is program it with a USB cable, and then there's a little bitty black switch right there. And at 2 seconds after the even minute, you hit that button, and that's what starts the timing.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
over time, it will fail, and you have
Right.
to, you just can't leave it plugged in forever. But it's a cool little device. It's great to
Right.
test antennas. I think
I
it's
remember seeing,
yeah, $93 somewhere in that range. I think with that, what did I buy? Some cable or something. I think it was a cable to go from SMA to whatever, and shipping and everything was about $115. So good little device.
yeah, I remember seeing that in QSC, and I was looking for it the other day. I could not find it. So thanks for
Yeah, that's
showing
it. Oh, this is now out of DX Engineering now carries. The cool thing is if you get this, you get the DX Explorer access on the website. And this is nifty because you can compare two signals. So like if Peter has his running and I have mine running, it will compare simultaneous transmits. So if Peter and I are transmitting at the identical time, it will compare the identical receivers so we can compare our signals across the two.
Cool.
And it is a new, you can do it over and over. It's been pretty repeatable where it'll come up with a number that says Mark's antenna is 2 dB better than Peter's, and the next time it'll be 2.1, and it's pretty repeatable. So you can compare simultaneous transmissions with the simultaneous transmitters and receivers, and it's kind of cool to do an A/B test that way.
Yeah, Rob, pulling that back in with that OU, the balloon, when you're doing the whisper, the OU balloon projects that they've been launching, the last 4 of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah. So I had mine running on the same band as them at the same time.
Oh, that's great.
And then what I did was I compared the first hour. So the first hour where the balloon is roughly in the same location where I am, and then accounting for the power difference and everything else, having that dipole up, couple of thousand feet versus my inverted V off center fed, they had something like at least they had consistently a 9 dB advantage.
Huh.
So basically, we're looking at stations that received both our signals and then reporting the signal level, and then normalizing for the power difference. Just having their antenna height and everything, they were coming in consistently about 9 dB stronger.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Does anyone want to see the radar? I could share it. Some storms just to our south.
Sure. Let me put you co-host. There you go.
So let's see. Share screen. Yeah, there's that line of storms that formed earlier down east of Lubbock, basically up towards Wichita Falls, and it's ever so slowly kind of edging to the east as the cells move northward, but they're kind of just skirting us. I can hear the rumbles of thunder outside. Oh yeah, Carl's showing beautiful lightning. Wow, look at that. Well, that's pretty to look at than mine. Look, Carl should share a screen. Oh, look at that. Anyway, I'll stop sharing. Oh, Carl, I forgot. Are you in South Oklahoma City?
No, I'm well,
There you go.
southwest Oklahoma City.
Okay.
West of Norman. It's not
Yes,
in
you probably have a
it's not in any city limits.
yes, you have a better view probably than we do. We're a little too close to it. Probably don't get that side view of the clouds.
Yeah, I have about a mile and a third of totally open field. It's not a tree. That the highest thing in there is a cow.
That's beautiful. You want to see the light one?
On the screen?
It's live.
Oh, Dave. Where is that? Yeah.
Southwest Oklahoma City.
Hey, Bob, I gotta say that this was recorded earlier.
Was it like a couple hours ago, or obviously it was after dark? So
Yeah, it was like a year ago.
a year ago. It's just not today. So yeah, I'm surprised there's that much light. Looks pretty.
Yeah, it was really amazing, and yeah, it was just fantastic lightning.
Yeah, what a display.
Very, very rare to. This really doesn't even do it justice.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Did those storms eventually move into your location, or were they to the east and south? That's what I would
To the
guess.
south and east, yes, and nope, they didn't have any storms. It was all at quite a distance away.
Yeah. Yeah, usually you get the best views of the side of the storm like that when it's moving away from you.
Yeah, those lights on the horizon are about 2 to 3 miles away.
Wow. Yeah, you got a good view there. Nice dark view. Yeah, pretty cool. I thought it was real.
Mark,
What?
do you have a VHF antenna of height up?
What are we calling high cut?
Of any height?
Oh, do I right now?
Yeah.
25 foot, something like that.
Okay. Would you start monitoring 147.075?
Okay. Surreal.
Well, it's supposed to be in Surreal. I don't think it's there. I think it's in the Chickasha area.
Oh.
It's actually supposed to be in Davis.
Oh. Okay.
I think that's giving us some grief at times.
Oh. Because that's the one that Jeff gets on every once in a while, and he's on that. CKK.
Right.
And he might be a little wide and a little loud. Okie doke. You think it's in Chickasha?
Yeah, I need to pay a little bit more attention while I'm driving. I've been listening to it for about the last week. Mobile.
I was gonna say, I know somebody that goes to Chickasha.
I've heard it a number of times when I was in Norman.
Huh.
Mobile.
Have to take a listen. Have to take a listen.
But I think we need to start investigating it.
Okie doke. Have you put a meter on it or no?
No.
Is it wide?
That I don't know. I need to sit down and go through my service monitor so I can
check it out.
I've got power supply issue with it.
Oh, got it. I might have to put one on and take a listen.
But
super scanner.
Okay, catch you guys. Have fun.
Thank you.
See you, Peter.
See you, Peter.
Thanks.
When I first started